Come back in here
Back
to finish
in.
up. Yeah.
Ready? Good morning, everyone out there on Facebook. Welcome back to our third day of the Texas National Stock Show, and today's the Barrow Day. Got about 115 head of bigger barrows. We showed prospects yesterday, gilts and barrows. Friday, we had a very, very good gilt show as well. So, wrapping up a very successful weekend here at the Texas National Stock Show, and looking forward to the Barrow Show. We're blessed today to have a very high caliber judge. We have Kelton Mason with us. Kelton, welcome to Texas. Welcome to Wichita Falls. Welcome to the Texas National.
Well, thank you, Brandon. Certainly a pleasure to be here. Excited for the day, and I know this is always a great show. I was able to do part of it last year, and was very impressed with just the layout of things and the organization, and it's a great event.
Kelton, most everyone knows of your history and your past and how you kind of came up through the ranks, but give us just a quick bio, if you don't mind, of how you got to where you are today.
I grew up in a little West Texas town outside of Lubbock, Plains, Texas. Actually graduated from Brownfield High School there, and started showing, I guess, my first or second grade a year there. My dad came from a livestock background, but was very sports driven and athletic driven. He's the president of the bank there in Plains and has been since I was little, and wanted to get involved in showing, and really pretty much just started with one or two 4-H projects is what it started out like, and then just went from there. We raised them growing up, and it's where I found a passion and love for it, and we just kind of took off from there, and that's where we've been. But my sister and I showed all through the high school career there, and then went to Texas A&M on livestock judging team there, and then been able to be part of the industry since, and it's been a great road for sure.
Pretty modest about his upbringing, I can tell you. Back in the day when Brownfield and the Masons showed up, I mean, everyone was looking. They had a great run. I don't know how many majors you were able to get a piece of, but that whole crew out there was just so competitive, and that all comes when you're pushing each other. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was one of those deals. There was one of the first times I think we probably had the whole crew and maybe a group that kind of showed one of the first times there, and it was a lot of fun.
Doing the Pledge of Allegiance real quick.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So again, we've got Kelton Mason here, and get started off with our pledge there. But just to follow up, Kelton, what do you do today? And tell us a little bit about the business you're a part of, the stud.
Sure. I worked formerly for Lidner Show Feeds, and that's been an awesome group to work for, and very, very supportive, obviously, of the show pig industry there. We own and operate the stud show pigs. Daniel Sly and I own the operation. We've been in business together for I guess 10 years now, or March 10 years, and we merged our sow herds and boar stud. We merged the boar studs first, and then we merged our sow herds next, and the sows are in Fayetteville there, and then I sell them there, sell all the pigs and house the boars in Montgomery, Texas.
Yeah, so great partnership you've got with the stud, and kind of evolved from your talent there at Brownfield back into giving back to the industry. Now you got kiddos showing, and everyone kind of keeps an eye out for the Masons when they show up. So again, very blessed today to have Kelton Mason here to judge our barrows. Looking forward to it. Thanks for coming, Kelton.
Thank you, Brandon. Looking forward to it too. Good enough.
Yes, sir. Again, we're back here for day 3 of the Texas National Stock Show, or Barrows only. These are the Barrows from 200 pounds and up. The way we have dealt out our scholarship money, and you'll hear me talk a lot about the scholarship money. Yesterday in the prospects, we didn't pay out quite as much, about $6,000 in scholarships in the gilts and the Barrows. The day before, though, in the breeding gilt show, $41,750 was paid out in scholarships to that. To the breed winners, actually the top 3 in each class, the breed winners, and then the overalls, top 3. We'll do that similar in the Barrow show today. So your breeds and reserve breed champions, actually every class, top 3 will be getting scholarship dollars plus some other prizes and banners and awards. First place will get a $1,000 scholarship. Second will get $500. Third will get $250. And then you roll, the better you do, the better you get. So breed champions are $1,500, reserve breed champions are $1,250 today. And then at the end of the day, when we do our top trio, our supreme champion bearer, in the pure, or in the supreme champion bearer, reserve champion bearer, and then bronze, those values will be $5,000, $2,500, and $2,000. So great opportunity. We've talked and plugged it all along. Moving forward in discussion with Tim and his crew here with the Texas National, the intent and the plan is to stay right here on this holiday weekend. So I would suggest, and the environment around here has been great. I had a New Year's Eve party last night and catered meal for all the participants. So encourage you maybe to put this on your calendar for next year. It's a great opportunity for you and your kids to get out and bring your hogs and let them get out and get another experience under their belt before you start your show season, wherever it might be. So looking forward to the Barrow show today. Like I said, we got about 115 head, and should be a very, very high quality show. We are going to start our day off with the all-black crossbred class. Looks like we've got 8 head in the all-black crossbred class today. Those weight ranges from 204 to 246 here as we begin our Market Barrow show. We'll show in alphabetical order. The AOBs would be the second breed. AOBs will be Polands and Herefords and Tamworths if they happen to show up. But yesterday we had one Hereford. The rest of them have been Polands. And then we'll roll into the Berkshire breeds. So Barrow-wise, we won't show Chesters. We'll show them as white OPBs towards the end under the W's. So landrace Chesters and down-eared white ones will all show in that particular breed in the white OPBs later on. But first breed today, the all-black crosses. Like we're getting ready to get underway. Rick Whitman comes up here and volunteers every year and runs the scales, and he's been diligently working that job. Lots of volunteers really make this show run and work throughout the day, and we've talked about it a couple of times. The only good thing I think that's come out of COVID is the ability to webcast these shows to a much higher caliber and a higher quality. Taylor Fort and his crew, the stream team, doing an incredible job, and so hopefully we'll be able to give you angles and views like you're here. We'd love for you to be here anyway, but since you can't make it, we're glad you're watching out there on Facebook Nation and being able to feel like you're here anyway to watch one of your loved ones or one of your Barrows show that maybe you've raised. So best of luck. Again, 8 head in this all-black cross class. They come in, kind of he'll figure out which ones he likes and send them to the scales and weigh them, and then possibly pin them back, rework the top end. Depends on the size of the class, exactly how he may or may not handle those things. One more left to come in here. Looks like he's going to let them all get in here and drive before he sends a few to the scales. So interestingly enough, the gilts showed the first day, and then those gilts that were hovering around 200 pounds were able to stick around and show in that prospect gilt show yesterday morning. So the gilt show on Friday was 200 pounds and up. The prospect gilt show was 199 and down. So had quite a few kiddos take advantage of that opportunity to get their gilts out twice and show them. Kind of the same way in the Barrow deal now too. We've got a few of these smaller Barrows in this particular class that showed yesterday in the prospect Barrow show. So get you a good opportunity to get that thing to the ring twice in one weekend. And we've talked about, I think Texas National is the first one to kind of break this breed out and have an all-black class. And it kind of gives these solid black ones an opportunity to get out here and get showcased. Maybe not as flashy as some of the belted ones we've seen out in other dark crosses and different things like that. So it kind of gives them their due and has an opportunity to showcase on their own.
Well, good morning. Certainly a pleasure to be here and work through the show, the Barrow show today, and definitely an event that I've looked forward to coming to. Was able to do part of one of the shows last year and was just overwhelmed with the layout, the organization, and what was put into this to this show here. And I know we don't have just great numbers today or just vast numbers, but I can tell you for having one class of all black crosses, this is going to be one competitive show because we end up sending 4 to the scales and going to send these 4 back, and there's still some very high quality ones there. If you look at across the ring here at these 4, they're all sound, they're correct, they're good in terms of their structural makeup, body shape's awesome. I think we've got just some differences in terms of look and design there from the side, maybe squareness of chest and knee on a couple of them there, but again, a different guy with the microphone and making different calls today. This is one deep class, and things could definitely shake out just a bit differently. If you would put your hands together for these 4 kiddos to head back there to the barn. We'll rework that top 4.
8 head in our first class. He's kept 4 and sent 4 back. We'll try to get you some information on the 4 that we've got pinned. I know the first one pinned was Brianne Best from Whitesboro, Texas. That's an in-game from Trogdon. Second one, Cole Cherry from Toller, Texas. That's a hero from Bridges Livestock. Shelby Brown's in the pin. Shelby had that lightweight Barry weight, turned him in at 204 today, and that thing was at 199 yesterday and won the dark crosses, or the all-black crosses in the Prospect Barrow show. And then we have Lane Espinoza from Whitesboro, Texas with an honor code Barrow from Mollets. Shelby's Barrow is a Shug from Lindner Show Pigs. I believe Shelby's out here in the red shirt. This, I believe, is Lane Espinoza in the orange shirt. Young man that just comes out now is Cole Cherry from Toller. It's a hero from Bridges Livestock. If you've watched the last couple of days, those heroes from Bridges have surfaced a couple of times and had a few class winners and really a solid day. Then our last one that comes out here in the top 4, Brianne Best from Whitesboro, Texas, with an in-game from Trogdon. So really good start to our Barrow show.
Well, like I said, there we had 8 individuals, and I thought the quality ran very deep and very consistent. And if you can tell, when we sent those 4 to the scales, I probably put as much emphasis in terms of look, design, and presence from the side as anything whenever we have that high quality livestock. And I think we get to that particular point when their structure is built right, they're assembled right from a skeletal aspect, and that's where these 4, I thought, excelled that particular set there. And we have a very consistent group right out here. I think it's neat that we separate the black crosses. And honestly, as a breeder, it's probably one of those things there that I like having that avenue to market those pigs too, because sometimes those sellers tend to, or buyers tend to kind of discount that just a bit. And I think there's that notion that a black one can't win. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever raised them before, I think that notion gets thrown out the window. So these are just in play just as hard as any of the other breeds that we come out here. And I can tell you what, I think these 4 are exceptionally good. There's a top pair for me that resemble each other in terms of height, the shoulder. They're having a stout feature and look there about them, and design from the sides also. And of that pair, there's one that's significantly better about his chest, his rib. He's a wider base kind of a barrow there. He squares up tremendously good with a big back out of his, or squares up behind his shoulder with a great big back. I think this one's a very, very good place to start. Congratulations to this young lady right here. She has our class winner and our champion black cross here. The second place one is one that is just awesome. Again, from the side, height, the shoulder, the ability to get his head and neck above his blade where it should be. A level design, one that's aggressive about his loin edge and just as comfortable on the go as he could be. Comparatively, our champion, he doesn't come quite as wide through his chest and his knee. He's not as bold and shapely in terms of his rib design, but I think a very, very good one to be reserved. Congratulations to this young man. He's got a very, very nice reserve champion there. Between 3 and 4, it gets a little bit closer, I think. I think we've got differences in terms of structure, in terms of heaviness of feature there, and stoutness of forearm. We've got one that's maybe just a bit more muscular. Again, just kind of a judgment call or wherever you lay those together. I think there's a bigger difference in terms of just sheer bone work, and still at the same time, I think this is a longer hip kind of a barrow. Young lady here's going to be 3. Congratulations to the young man for having a 4th place. Really, really good one. Let's give all these dark crosses or black cross exhibitors a big round of applause.
A good start to our show. The all black crosses, those top 4 line up like this. Your champion in first place in that class, Shelby Brown, with a love from Lubbock, Texas, with a Shug Barrow from Lindner Show Pigs. Reserve champion all black cross goes to Cole Cherry from Toller, Texas, with a Hero from Bridges Livestock. 3rd in that class, Brienne Best from Whitesboro, with an Endgame from Trogdon. And 4th place was Lane Espinoza from Whitesboro, with an honor code from Mollets. 4 really nice all black crosses to get our day started. Great start to our Barrow show. Now roll into the AOBs. We've got 3 in this class. I said this is kind of a catch-all, so Poland's, Herefords, Tamworth's. First one out is a Hereford. Probably just send all 3 of these to the scales. First one in is Kinsler Gingo with her Hereford Barrow from Reeves. Reese Mabry's the second one in with a Poland Barrow from Statons. That's in all due respect. And then our Tatum Gingo comes in with a 222-pound Poland Barrow from Reeves and Bottleberg. He is a Gorilla Outlaw. So small numbers in the AOB, but 3 really nice ones. Range out here 205 to 222 on these 3. As we talked about, this is the Texas National Stock Show. Started a couple of years, kind of born out of COVID and with cancellations, and has grown and evolved.
Well, with just 3 of these AOBs here, we've got, obviously this will end up being our champion in reserve. We'll just discuss all 3 of these projects here before we actually name a placing. The Hereford came in first, and obviously that's a great big body kind of a barrow there. I think he's sound and he's comfortable on the go. He's a square-built one whenever you get in behind him as well. And I think relative to that breed, he's a muscular kind of a barrow there. Comparatively to the other 2, maybe he's a little blander in terms of shape, and we could crisp him up down low just a bit from a look standpoint, but still sound, correct, and square for sure. Young lady in the green sweater has a nice design barrow there from the side. I think he's level in his top line and out of his hip. Another square whenever he leaves you. Maybe range of motion isn't quite as good, or he gets a little bit tighter out of his hip and his rear leg compared to the other black barrow here, but still at the same time, very square, very good in his upper hip design as well. Young lady there in the blue shirt, we have not named the placings yet. The young lady there in the blue shirt has a really good kind of a barrow there in terms of shape and squareness outside the backside of his blade. He is one that enters the ring with a lot of quality and look about him. She does a great job getting that one presented. I think that one's the most genuine in terms of loin shape. I think that's the most expressive when you get in behind him, and probably couples that with the best just a range of motion there out of his hip and his rear leg. A clean jointed one for sure. I could maybe slick him up again ahead of his blade and make him just a nickel more attractive there, but everything fits, everything matches, everything blends together extremely well. And again, she did a great job driving them. So congratulations to these 3 young ladies. That's the way that I saw them. It's a competitive group of them for sure. Young lady right here ends up having our champion. Let's give her a big round of applause. Young lady with a green sweater ends up being reserved. Good job to each one of those kids.
Again, they're in the AOB breed, 3 head. Champion ends up being Reese Mabry, with an all due respect from Staten Farms. Reserve champion AOB goes to Kinsler Gingo from, Tatum Gingo from Reeves and Bottleburg. And then the 3rd place was Kinsler Gingo from Reeves. So now roll into the Berkshire breed. Have 1 class of Berks today, 8 head in here.
And here are the results for AOB.
Got 8 head coming in on the Berks from 200 to 248.
Good morning. A little bit late here. I was here. I just tending to some business, I guess.
Wearing lots of hats, Cole. Got to get the hogs tended to. And
I don't have a barrow showing today, so I'm going to wait till the rest of my crew gets here. They can feed them.
Like I said, we did have a neat New Year's party last night. All the participants were treated to a meal, a complimentary meal, and had a couple of bands in here, and it was a great New Year's.
Yeah, TCU won, so that's good.
Yep, they still won. Really thought the Ohio State was going to pull it off, but
Pretty intense. Both of those games were very good.
again out here, are the only class of Berkshires we've got 8 head in the class.
I guess pretty big weight range, 48 pounds from the top to the bottom. There's several of these that showed yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Might be a few.
Yes, and anything that weighs less than about 205 probably showed yesterday, so that's about half the class.
Coulter Winter had champion yesterday in the Berks, but
that
was
one was
a different,
little, yeah.
different barrow. Yeah, he's got
Yes,
another one out here, and this still weighed 225. So.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a few.
Good pair of barrows Coulter's got. I mean, both of them. One of them, one Red River Rivalry was one of them. I don't know which one it was. Like we sent Coulter, Gracie Bohannon,
And Roxton
Stone.
Stone now hits the scales. Roxton showed yesterday that barrow.
Yes, sir. And
Gracie's headed to the pen.
Well, again, just one class of Berks. We sent 4 over to the scales, and again, quality livestock headed back. This is a good barrow from a look and stoutness perspective. I want to lay his shoulder back on his body just a bit more comfortably. The 2 guys' barrows there are really good in terms of muscularity and design from the side. They need to be stouter about their skull and forearm, just stouting them up in their feature just a bit. This barrow here gets a little longer bodied there from the profile, but you get on top of him, he's still got a lot of spread to his upper body. A good hip kind of a barrow there. The young lady has that one presented extremely well. Again, just didn't maybe proportion quite as well. But again, quality ones headed back to the barn. Let's put our hands together for those guys.
Again, 8 head in that Berkshire class. Kept 4, sent 4 back. 4 he kept. We've got Coulter winner in a pen with a secret stash from Wintex. Coulter's from Lubbock. Gracie Bohanna from China Springs, Texas. She's got a jet black. Roxton Stone from Stanton, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
Pound Town from Reeves and Smythe. And then the first one that was pinned back, I believe the other one that was pinned back is Brody Cole from Salado with a role play from Lindner. No, sorry, Cason Strange from Electra with a Waterbark from IDK. So that's our 4, Cason Strange, Brody, Cason Strange, Roxton Stone, Gracie Bohannon, and Coulter winner. So Cason's out here in the darker green shirt. Roxton is a young man in kind of the light purple shirt.
Looks like Cason was 4th.
Gracie goes third.
So today's a big scholarship day. So 3rd gets $250, and 500 and 1,000 for the class winners. So which here would be 15 and 1250 because there's one class.
No matter what number of livestock are entered in a show these days, or where you're at in the country, or at what stage, prospect or major show-wise, there's no such thing as an easy show anymore. It's always competitive. It's always tough. And there's always a lot of close calls and probably varied opinions as you pull them around the barn. Livestock's just gotten good, and there's a competitive showman for sure. We've got a pair up here that surfaced to the top pretty easily for me. Yet at the same time, they're very different in the way they're put together. Again, just discussing these 2 and the way that I see them before we name a placing. This is obviously our champion reserve, and the 2 guys did a great job. The little guy here that has a big stout one, that one does have the stoutness advantage. That's a stout featured, big forearm kind of a barrow there that's got a great big rear leg, and still at the same time, I read that one good in terms of mobility to tie that extra mass and stoutness that he has there. I think a balanced kind of a barrow there from the side. Again, everything fits and matches extremely well. For me, he gets a little bit more mature about his head and his crest and maybe there in front of his blade. And again, as a show judge, we would never need to start calling ages because we'll definitely look like a fool there. He just looks a little more mature up front. For me, I'd like to pick him up off the surface from a growth curve standpoint, just a nickel or frame size standpoint, if you will. But then again, that's a very, very high quality one. The other barrow there, the maybe a little lighter weight barrow there of the pair, is one of those that does have a little more youthful look ahead of his shoulder. I really like his head and neck placement where it comes out of the top of his blade there. He's got a good ear set and a great presence about him here from the side. He's a level designed one as well that I see very genuine in terms of his muscle shape up top. He goes away from you, and I think he's probably even that much more expressive in his upper hip and center stifle. A good, clean-jointed, strong-footed kind of a barrow there that, again, I like his maturity pattern for sure. He's not as stout in terms of his rear bone, and maybe foot size is what the other barrow is. Maybe just one of those that looks like he needs to catch up again from a maturity standpoint. So, again, that's the way that I see him. Great pair out here. I think they'd be competitive in a lot of different rings. My preference lies with the young man in the purple shirt. That's going to be our champion. Congratulations, young man in green for reserve.
And congratulations to Roxton Stone for being champion.
I thought 3 and 4 were really close as well, and I think the barrow that comes in 3 is just a bit better out of his hip and his rear leg than the one that comes in 4. I like this one's body shape, his freshness of design that he has. He's a barrow that goes away from you and wants to get out the center portion of his hock just a nickel. This barrow that comes in 4 is very, very good in terms of the turn to his loin. I like his forerib shape ahead of his blade. He's got as much look as any of them there. We've got to rotate him up in terms of his pin set and level him out of his rump as he goes away from me. Actually wanted to draw in at his hock just a nickel there, but that's a high quality one to be for sure in one single class of Berks. Let's give all those kiddos another big round of applause as they head back there to the barn.
Placings in our only Berkshire class. Your champion and $1,500 scholarship winner goes to Roxton Stone from Stanton. That's a Pound Town from Reeves and Smythe. Reserve champions Coulter Winner from Lubbock with a secret stash from Wintex. Third was Gracie Bohanna from China Springs with a Jet Black from Reeves and Smythe. And then fourth place is Cason Strange from Electra with a Waterberg from IDK Genetics. So good Berkshire breed, just the one class. Now we roll into our dark crosses, be our biggest breed of the day. Should have 3 classes of these dark crosses. So as they come in, he's going to go ahead and send a few of the scales. He's got 10 in this class, so he's going to change it up a little different. Already sent 1 to the scales. I think that is
Pugh.
Yeah, Ashlyn Pugh.
That's a real good bear. She had a good day with that one yesterday as well. So
again, right there on that 200-pound deal, you can show yesterday as a prospect at 199 and down, and today as a big bear at 200 up.
Yes, sir. That's the good thing about this. I mean, you can kind of double dip, I guess, on days with the scholarship. You know, you can take the biggest one from yesterday. You know, if you've got Gilts and Barrows, I mean, you've got the opportunity really to win 4 scholarships here. And, you know, if the pigs are right there on the bubble, you got the opportunity to win it with just 2 pigs. So,
yeah, like I say, yesterday in the prospects, they didn't pay as big of scholarships. I think breeds were maybe around 250 and reserves around 150, but still gave out about 6,000 in scholarships in the prospect Gilts and the prospect Barrows yesterday. First day on the Gilt show, big Gilt show, we paid out $41,000 or committed $41,750 in scholarship to these kids. And that's what the structure we'll be doing today. So like we said earlier, top 3, 1,500 and 250, and the better you get in a breed, the higher you get. So 1,500 for breed champions, 1,250 for reserve breed champs, and then 5,000, 2,500, and 2,000 for our top 3 overall. Again, that first one back was Ashlyn Pugh from Ackerley. That's a doing this from Platt's Show Pigs. Believe Kate Cooper went to the scales from Wolford, Texas. That's a tricked out from Wintex.
like Red Owens went to the scales, and
Jade Stone from Stanton,
Stone.
Texas. That's a no stranger from Gravios Show Pigs. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. Red Owens is over there from Heiko with a tricked out from Flatland Show Pigs. Found a nice set in this class.
Ended up sending a few more to the scales, and we'll kind of reevaluate those. We get in the first class of dark crosses, and we have a big variation in terms of frame size and condition, and for me, probably just management of where we're going to have them at an end point. We stop them right here in the middle, and we have some that just need to be a little fresher today, and at the same time, looks like they could do that if you're able to just kind of pour it to them and let them get to the feed trough a little bit more. Their design's good, body shape is right, their sound make kind of pigs there. Again, just freshen them up just a bit. There's a couple of them I'd like to stouten them up at their foundation ever so slightly, but still quality ones. The depth of quality is extremely good today. Let's put our hands together for these kiddos as they head back.
Six of them caught a pin here in the lightweight dark cross classes. Rylan Corbin from Brock, Texas with a Believe It from Carl Kent's in the pin.
Reagan Slough.
Reagan there in the pink shirt. Yeah, Keller, Texas with a tricked out from Livermore. So kept 6 of them here to drive in the lightweight dark crosses. Have 3 classes of these dark crosses today. Here comes Ashlyn Pugh doing this from Platt Show Pigs. Next one out is Kate Cooper. Kate's Barra is a tricked out from Wintex Farms. That Rhett.
That's Jade.
Okay, Jade Stone comes out next from Stanton. That's a no stranger from Gravelous Show Pigs.
That's Rhett, and then you got Levi Henderson.
Red Owens comes out with a tricked out from Flatlands. Henderson comes out next from Seymour. That's a come on back from Thomas Show Pigs. So this is a Texas National show. We've had exhibitors here from Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado. One from Utah. Had a good visit with that crew last night too. They just decided they want to come down and experience something different. So good to have a good turnout with this national policy and then the opportunity to bring in interstate hogs. The 840 tags are a necessity for hogs to show here at the Texas National, and kind of discussed that yesterday, the importance of having a good relationship with your vet and knowing why we've got to have those 840 tags and CVIs on these hogs as they come to a big show like this where you've got hogs from other states. So hopefully that wasn't a deterrent. If it is, I'd encourage y'all to educate yourselves more, get with your vet, and just understand the importance of 840 tags and biosecurity reasons and herd health and why we need to work with our partners, the Texas Animal Health Commission, to make sure that we're keeping things healthy.
Yes, it's just like basically disease traceability. If something happens and there is an outbreak here, they need to know where the pigs that were here went back into Texas and how to get them, how to get things under control. And which is good. I mean, there's a lot of, for the most part, I guess the show guys, I guess the commercial guys think we do a terrible job. But I think we actually do a fairly good job. These pigs cost way too much money to not.
Well, I think a really good class here, and again, there's a lot of quality. Ran deep all the way through, and there's a lot of variations, some differences on the top end of this class for sure. For me, though, there needs to be no debate that the Black Barrow needs to win this particular set here. He's got a great look here from the side and ties that with a stout skull, a good forearm, a great blade shape that he has, and a lot of times that we'll see, we get those that are opened up through their chest and their blade like this one is, and their elbow wants to roll out and get a little loose outside their body, and this one tucks it in where it needs to be. He's functional in his front step. I absolutely love this guy's body shape, his forerib design. He's consistent in his body shape, and translate that up. That's a great big back one that's got a big loin shape as well. He's got a big expressive upper hip and a stout rear leg as well. He gets a little east and west. When you get in behind him, I still think he's functional in his step. I could just collect him and maybe corner him just a little bit more appropriate as he leaves you, but still, that's an easy place for me to start. Young lady ends up in second, and 2 and 3 were the closest pair for me. There's a stoutness advantage there, particularly in terms of that guy's skull and forearm. When he comes right at you, he's quite a bit more manly than the one that comes in 3. I think that's a square-built one as well that actually goes away from you just a bit better in terms of hock placement than the one that I beat him with. At the same time, he's a little blander about his hip shape. He's a little flatter out of his stifle and his lower ham there as well, but still very good kind of a barrel to be in too. Highly presented, extremely good barrel from a skin and hairs perspective. He's fresh to look at and very good from a present standpoint. That's a very sound and comfortable kind of a barrel as he crosses the show ring surface. And you get in behind him, and he's got more dimension, particularly up top there than the barrel that I beat him with. At the same time, when he comes at you, he tends to close up just a nickel, maybe gets a little bit slicker about his forearm and just a little bit, again, a little blander in terms of his shape there. I just wanted to stouten him up and man him up all the way through there. I liked his rib shape and body dimension. Again, I think he is pried open better down low than the bear that comes out next. I love this guy's design there from the side. He's tall-shouldered and definitely my speed from a presence and look perspective there. He's a bear that doesn't read nearly as stout about his feature and his bone work, but primarily looks like one of those that we may be squeezing on just a nickel, and he's one to close up underneath. You're able to pour the coals to him and open him up and pry him down low just a bit better. His look from the side is always going to be very valuable there. This is an interesting bear, and I didn't know exactly where to stick this one that comes out in 5 because that's absolutely the very biggest backed one other than our class winner that we have to work with here. That's a good kind of a market hog there in terms of frame size and growth. Combining that with dimension of muscle there. At the same time, obviously he's not quite as fresh in his look and maybe skin and hair today, but primarily when we got him out here and we had those top 5 or 6 out of there, he was the most restricted out of his hip and his rear leg. He stays the straightest off of both ends of his skeleton there. If he'll just kind of soften and relax just a bit, I think he could be awfully good there. You know, a lot of times we get into these shows and then we talk about priorities, and I think most all judges would kind of list the same priorities in somewhat of the same order, but we kind of come into different lines of acceptability, and I think that's where we have variation. This bear right here is on the wrong side of acceptability from a frame size perspective for me, but another guy judging and calls that big enough that he ends up going quite a bit higher in class because that's still a high-headed kind of a barrow there that's good in his slope to his shoulder. He's good out of his hip and his rear leg. A soft-bodied one there, but I read him just a little bit plainer in terms of his muscle shape, maybe just a little bit chubbier up front as well. Need, again, pick him up off the show ring surface ever so slightly. The young lady did a great job showing a really competitive one to be in 6.
Good start there to our dark crosses. First place in the lightweights, Ashlyn Pugh from Ackerley, Texas, with a doing this from Platt Show Pigs. Second was Kate Cooper from Wolford, Texas, with a tricked out from Wintex Farms. Third was Rhett Owens from Hyco, Texas, with a tricked out from Flatland Genetics. Fourth place was Jade Stone from Stanton, Texas, with a no stranger from Gravel Show Pigs. Fifth place was Levi Henderson from Seymour, Texas, with a come on back from Thomas Show Pigs. And sixth in that class, Rylan Corbin from Brock, Texas, a Believe It from Carl Kent. So good start to our dark cross spread division. Now move into the middleweight darks. 8 head in this class. And we'll have 3 classes of these. That final class of darks will have 9 head in it. So largest breed we'll have today in the Barrow Show, dark crosses.
Like Anna Frankie gets into the scales. By the way, that's a nice dig.
Any supplies, you are in luck because you can get them right here at the show. You can go visit Sullivan Show Supply.
Anna Frankie is first one off the scale.
Again, if we're going to weigh and resort them, we're going to go ahead and have a fair share of them, and over half each one of those classes. We still have 3 good ones headed back. This is a stout made kind of a bear there that I just like you to be a little stronger and maybe more collected there in this top line, just from a design standpoint. Extra muscular and stout one here. Need to redesign his rear structure and give him a notch more bend to his hock, but still a very, very good one. And then we've got a bear there that the young man drives fresh up top and square in terms of his blade and hip design. He needs to be stouter in his footwork to match that mass up top. But a good class here. Be really interesting how they shake out. Let's give those 3 kiddos a big hand.
Looks like Shelby Brown headed to the pin. Anna Frankie, Cooper Holman's coming off the scale.
Adeline Pugh's over here as well.
And if we can have class 3 of dark cross, please start coming.
Kept 5 though here in this middleweight dark cross class out of the 8. So another good deep set that Kelton found a lot of quality in. Kept 5 to sort back through. Like the first one we're going to bring back out here after we get this other one settled back into pins. Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma. Don't have any genetics or breeder on that barrow, but Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma, comes out there in the blue sweater.
Like that last one was Morgan Wagner from Illinois. Got a pin.
Another state represented from Illinois, first exhibitor from Illinois this weekend. So Shelby Brown comes out here next from Lubbock. That's a Hero from Flatland Genetics.
At Flatland, they've done a pretty good job the last few years putting together a good set. They're third in the last class. They had several Barrows in the top end yesterday.
Yep, heard that name a few times, and also heard that name on the sponsor list. So appreciate Flatland Show Pigs as sponsors throughout the day. We'll roll back through our sponsors a few times if we can, and certainly couldn't put this show on without them. So next one out, Cooper Holman from Comfort. That's a drop kick from CC Show Pigs.
It's a home raised Barrow there. So
Cool.
Cooper and his dad, mom, they spent a lot of time putting together a set of sows down there. And last year had a couple breed champions at major shows. So, they know what they're doing. They got a good program. So,
Yep.
this is
We've
Cooper's
announced
first
them
year
a
to go to the
couple
big
times,
range.
So, yep. Adeline Pugh's out here in kind of the orange sweater. It's a tricked out from Tres Amigos. Our final bear here in the top 5 is Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois. It's a no huddle from Hilty. Cooper goes in
Fifth.
5th. Very competitive class.
Yes, again, that's the class you get these Barrows in 5 different classes at San Antonio and or Houston. They've all got a shot to win their class. So.
Yeah, this is a good set.
Good weight spread here, about 25 pounds too. So.
Frankie Barrow goes in here 4th. He's got a big old shapely back end. Just didn't act like he felt real good going off his hip today.
Like I said, a competitive class here, and honestly sent them to the scales, and they kind of random order and not exactly sure how they would shake out once we peeled them out of the placing pins there, but very confident that they line up in this way in my mind and maybe come together even more logically than I thought they would as they came out. We start with the top pair of bears that for me are the most comfortable in terms of range of motion and flexibility and squareness of build. They're the most correct right at the surface in terms of texture, strength, and still having some cushion there. And give of the pair, there's one that his head and neck comes out of his shoulder at quite a bit better angle. He's got a good presence about his front end, a nice kind of a show bear there that still has proper body shape. He's got genuine muscle shape up top, and he's a bear there that even though I'd like to lengthen him out of his rump, maintained his comfort level throughout the drive there. Again, his advantage is the front third of his body over the bear that comes into that bear the young lady drives there. The thin belted one is a very smooth patterned one, extremely good, where he transitions from his blade to his forerib. He's consistent in his body shape there as well. I'm not going to say he's necessarily the biggest bodied, but he's very, very consistent in his body shape. A level designed one up top, and a lot of times in this species we don't talk about underline levelness near like we do in the other species, but that one is so level from his chest to his sheath to his flank that allows him to be very symmetrical here from the side. A square built, just a good fundamentally correct kind of a bear that for me his head and neck ties a little bit lower on his blade. He needs to be a little longer ahead of his shoulder there and get it up out of his blade at a little bit higher angle. Probably comparatively ideal. He could be just a nickel stouter right at the surface. That's enough for me to be up there in the top pair for sure. Congratulations to her. I think that one's sheer advantage in terms of just pasture and strength can align that one over the one that comes in 3. I like this one's shape up top, a very fresh made kind of a barrow there that's fit extremely well. Young lady does a great job on the stick with a barrow that I read is good in terms of the dimension to his loin as any of them. He's stouter in terms of his head and skull than the one that I beat him with. I don't know if he's any stouter in terms of his rear leg as he leaves you. And for me, he just has to be propped up on his pastures on all 4 there and give him more strength right at the ground, but still very, very good kind of a barrow. He was more comfortable than the barrow that I sent to the scales quick. This barrow comes in and he is so massive up top. He's stout about his skull and his blade. He came in, the young lady does an awesome job asking him to get and go. The longer we drove though, he sure wanted to tighten now of his hip and his rear leg, consequently got pretty high and rigid in his spine as well. If that one would have stayed flexible and stayed comfortable there, he could definitely been at the very top. Just his sheer composition is what aligned him over the next young man's barrow here. This one's probably truly the biggest legged, and particularly when you get him behind him. He's got a great big column of bone. He's got a big body. It's stout-made kind of a barrow there. He, too, could be strengthened up right at the surface. For me, I could pick him up from a frame size standpoint just a bit, but he did a great job. That was a really competitive and great class. Congratulations to those exhibitors once again.
Good top end there in the middleweight dark crosses, placing Shelby Browns first from Lubbock with a hero from Flatland Genetics. Second was Adeline Pugh with a tricked out from Tres Amigos. Third place was Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois with a no huddle from Hilty. Fourth place was Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma. And fifth was Cooper Holman from Comfort with a home-raised barrow drop kick from CC Showpigs. So congratulations to our top five in the middleweight dark crosses. Now move into our final class of dark crosses, the heavyweights, 9 head in this class, ranging in weight from 258 to 310. So 258 to 310 here in our heavyweight dark crosses.
Some pretty good sized barrows here. I know how long it takes to get a crossbred barrow to weigh 310 pounds, and it takes a lot of feed.
A lot of feed, maybe a little extra time nowadays.
Oh, for sure. I got sows that don't weigh 310.
Here out here, and we've got a young man talked about having an exhibitor from Utah. We've got young man's in this class. Nico Warwood from Farron, Utah is out here. So he's got the red kind of calico. He's the young man in a plaid shirt with the cool hairdo. So appreciate y'all coming from Utah to show at the Texas National. Like Allie Bridges is headed to the scales. That's a next from Corbs. Colton Vogue, I believe, got sent to the scales as well. That's My Intentions from Ham, like Coulter Winter. He's like, yeah, he's waiting on the scales too.
That young man from Utah, that's the one that rolled in with a rock and hairdo, huh?
Yep.
Come to play.
Second to none awards. Adams Fab, Amarillo by Morning, and 10 Young Showpigs. Thanks for supporting the Texas National Stock Show.
Like Jade Stone got a
Well, in the dark crosses with an extremely competitive class there. And I was excited when Tim and Taylor asked me to do the Market Hug show there because I knew we were going to get into those upper weights and kind of the true story would already been told on some of these big ones. And we get into this class, and I don't know where we're sitting on weight, but these are some big fellas here for sure that are showing some age and maturity, but still at the same time, the exhibitors have kept them fresh and kept them right. Obviously, their end point is very, very soon, and they've got them dialed in here for sure. It's going to be a fun group to work through in that top set with a lot of variation. There's still good ones going back. Again, we maybe could just change them from a structure aspect just a bit. Maybe, again, just design from the side. Maybe fell short in this competitive group here. But let's put our hands together for these kiddos. They head back. We'll redrive that top end again.
in here as we in the dark crosses. 9 in this class. Kelton's kept 5 of them to rework. Kept Allie Bridges from Toller, Bryn Fort from Burke Burnett, Jade Stone from Stanton, Colton Vogue from Whitesboro, and Coulter Winter from Lubbock. So we'll get to those when they roll out and let you know a little bit more information about them. First one out, Allie Bridges from Toller, Texas, with a next from Corbs. Next bar out's Jade Stone from Stanton with a No Stranger from Gravos Showpigs. Next one coming out is Colton Vogue from Whitesboro, Texas. That's a My Intentions from Ham Livestock. Large legs.
Yes, yes.
Coulter winner comes out next with a Team Sloan Barrow.
Says that is out of Ask AC, so he doesn't know.
AC's not right here handy, so can't ask her, but Team Sloan Livestock raised that one. And our last one here in the top 5 in the heavyweight dark crosses, Bren Fort comes out from Burke Burnett. That's a Rightfully So from Knopf. Little weight range out here from 262 to 310 in the top 5 we've got.
I'm guessing some of these barrels are well, obviously 310s are done today. Some of them probably going to go to Denver or maybe Fort Worth.
Five is going to be Coulter winner, heads to a pin. With his Team Sloan Barrow.
I think Kelton judged in Altus yesterday and rolled down here, so gets a double dip on judge. He's seen a lot of good hogs this weekend because they said that deal had 600-something head, and had a friend there said they were very good. So
yeah, I hope that thing ends up as close as it is. I hope it ends up being kind of a compliment event to the Texas National, and I know about 40 of those prospects from here yesterday headed up to show there today. So good set. That's always been a very, very good one up there in Oklahoma.
As we said, a very highly competitive class to end the dark crosses with. I think the quality ran deep, and we still had a top pair that I thought surfaced fairly handily. Of the pair, the young lady's chromed up barrow ends up getting the nod because I think that's a barrow that's laid back better in terms of his shoulder set and where that front structure's assembled and laid on his body is just a bit more comfortable. And then he also has the advantage in terms of rear foot placement. He's a bigger footed barrow that's got more toe spread and more surface as he comes right down to the ground there. He's square up top. He's square in his pin set. He's a comfortable kind of a barrow there. He's a barrow that I read with plenty of dimension there. At the same time, we could maybe give him a notch rounder shape to the base of his rib or prime open there just a nickel, but it's still a very, very good kind of individual to win. I like the barrow that comes in too, and obviously he's the one that we sent to the scales extremely quickly as he entered the ring. His skull shape and jawline and ear set just reads very, very stout with a lot of quality and presence about it. He's aggressive about his loin shape and where he comes to the backside of his shoulders is extremely impressive there. A square built kind of a barrow there that at the same time I wanted to change him as he went away from you. I thought he got a little more closed about his hoof design and maybe just a little more timid right at the surface. I read him straighter in the angle to his blade as well, comparatively the one that won, but extremely high quality. That just read stouter again about his skull, his forearm, and his rear leg than the next barrow that comes. I prefer this one at the top trio. He actually has the very best shape to his forerib. I think he's the boldest in the mid portion of his body, a thick-ended kind of a barrow there that's got a lot of carcass merit, if you will. I like his frame size and height of shoulder and look. We need to stouten him up right at the surface. We need to stouten him up as he leaves you just a bit. I didn't think he is quite as fresh as what those top pair was, but still extremely good barrow that was just more genuine in his loin shape and the turn to his edge than the barrow that comes out next. There's no doubt this one has the advantage in terms of rear leg size, and honestly, he's the heaviest structured one with the exception exception of one that's fixing to come there. In terms of bone work, I really like how stout his forearm is. Young man did a nice job with the Barrow there that's got enough depth of body, and he's pried open good down low. He just gets too bland and nondescript down his loin edge and up top for me. I just wanted to christen him up there just a bit. As we just alluded to, the heaviest structural one actually rounds out the ones that we sent to the scales there. Very burly and dense in his look, and one of those Barrows that just from a sheer stoutness alone needed to be sent and reevaluated here. When you get off and ask the livestock just to go back and forth and start studying him from a design standpoint, I thought he fell short in terms of just look and presence from the profile. Young man did a nice job getting him driven. Congratulations as a really good driver. We're going to have a nice champion group. Let's put our hands together for him one more time.
We end up our dark cross division placings in that class. First place went to Bryn Fort from Burke Burnett, rightfully so from Knopf. Second was Allie Bridges from Toller, Texas, with a next from Corb. Third place was Jade Stone from Stanton with a no stranger from Gravos Show Pigs. Fourth place was Colton Vogue from Whitesboro with a My Intentions from Ham Livestock. And fifth was Coulter Winter with a Team Sloan Barrow. Coulter's from Lubbock. Now shown for Champion Dark Cross out of that lightweight class, we bring in Ashlyn Pugh with her doing this from Platte Show Pig. She's in the black sweater. Shelby Brown comes out of the middleweights from Lubbock. That's a Hero from Flatland Genetics. And then our heavyweight class winner just placed Bryn Fort from Burke Burnett with a rightfully so from Knopf. So Kelton Mason evaluating this trio to pick your Champion Dark Cross of the Big Barrow Ring.
As we said in the Champion Berkshire group, no matter what the numbers are, whenever you have a good event like this, the quality is going to be very good on top. And these three individuals, I think, are exceptionally good to be competitive in a lot of different rings. I was very convicted that they need to be the class winners in each of the classes, and they come out here and very satisfied. The black one won that first class, and I love that Barrow's look and stoutness, a skull, and one of those that's very scripted about his jawline, but still at the same time looks like a man when he comes at you. I love his how square he is through his chest and his blade. We talked about him when they get that bold to still be assembled right in their front structure is definitely an attribute and something that we need to kind of seek after a little bit more these days. I think we're kind of getting a little out of bounds up front, and that bear is assembled extremely good. His forerib shape, his body dimension is easily the very best of this particular set. I like his shape up top, a fresh one that fits. It looks like he fits this particular weight and it still has some future. We commented and where we were critical as he goes away from you, he maybe sets him outside the plane of his hip just a nickel, just a shot east and west as he goes away. But that's a really, really good one to represent that first class. The chromed up one the young lady has there in the center has got a great look of her in front of his shoulder. Again, I probably maybe harp on it too much, but I absolutely love them when they have that kind of presence and their neck's able to shoot out the top side of their blade like that. It ties high into the base of his the base of his neck ties high on his shoulder. Again, it just gives him a champion kind of a look there. His depth of body's extremely good. He's genuine in his shape as well. I read that one stout enough. He's not as big in his rear leg and foot size as the other pair of Barrows there. I want to lengthen and level him out of his rump just a bit, but still, he maintained his comfort level, and she does a great job getting him presented. The one that won that last class won that particular set because he had the best rear leg, and he comes out here and he continually has the best range of motion. He's the squarest at his hock and the best in his rear foot placement. He's still a big, fresh-backed one there that, again, is a heavyweight status, but maintain his composition. I like his skull shape. Again, he's a square-chested one as well. His shoulder angle is extremely good. Where we were critical of him is he wants to get a little flatter at the base of his rib. I guess ideally we could prop him up on his front feet just a nickel as well, but still, we're being critical of three extremely high-quality ones. The young ladies have them presented well, fit well, and definitely did a great job. I guess when push comes to shove, I'm always going to end up using the one I think is the soundest. That's the big one. Congratulations to that young lady.
Champion Dark Cross comes out of that heavyweight class. Bryn Fort from Burke with a rightfully so from Knopf. Now bring Allie Bridges into the mix from Toller with her next from Corb.
This one hit me hard when he came in. Again, in terms of just skull and stoutness of feature there, he's probably as good as we had in the dark crosses. And then he's got a great big ditch that starts right at his shoulder and leads all the way to his hip. And not does he just have a lot of shape, he's got a dimensional loin as well. I read that one just as good as you could in terms of a stoutness, a feature, and combining that with look and presence. I want to change his rear feet just a bit. I'd like to freshen his mid-rib and flank ever so slightly, but still an awfully good kind of a bear there to represent that class. I actually thought it was fairly close for champion. The next one just is unrivaled in terms of body shape and center rib dimension. His cage is incredibly good, and again, one of those that we need to kind of seek after in terms of look and front end assembly. Congratulate the young lady with the solid black one for having reserve champion.
Reserve champion comes out of the lightweight class. That's Ashlyn Pugh. Ashlyn's driving and doing this from Platte Show Pigs. So congratulations to our winners in the dark cross breed. Again, breed champion, 1500 reserve breed champion, 1250 in scholarships, and then in the class placings as well, top three. So now move into the Duroc breed. We're going to have two classes of red ones. First class is going to be from 200 to 233. Be 6 head in the lightweight Durocs. Here in the lightweight Durocs, Anna Frank goes to the scales from Covington, Oklahoma. I believe that is Stockton Dabovich that goes to the scales as well. So 6 head in this class. Not sure how many he's going to keep, but he's already sent 2 to the scales.
Two different classes of six red bears. We weigh half of them in this set, and again, quality ones. I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I definitely don't blow smoke. I think the quality's deep, and I think there's a lot of close calls. This is an awesome looking one in terms of height, the shoulder, and presence and design there from the side. I wanted to stouten him up in terms of his rear leg size, and again, to strengthen his posture just a bit. Same goes with the young lady on the far side. That's a big backed one. Just again, strengthen him and make him just a bit better right at the surface. Maybe level him out of his top line. Maybe the burliest, the stoutest, the boldest ones, the young ladies Barrow there. For me, he needs just a little more look and design there from the side. But again, 3 really good ones. Let's give those 3 young ladies a big hand.
Get here in the lightweight Durocs, weighed 3 and sent 3 back. The 3 weighed Tanner Self from Lubbock, Anna Frank from Covington, Oklahoma, and Stockton Dabovich from Wichita Falls. So we'll be rolling that trio out here in just a minute in the lightweight Durocs. First one out is Stockton Dabovich from Wichita Falls. Don't have any genetics on this red barrow. Next one is Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma. She comes out as well with a barrow that we don't have any information on. Our last one of the top 3 in this lightweight Duroc class, Tanner Self from Lubbock, brings in a creation from Wintex.
I always think the Durocs are maybe one of the more challenging ones to line up, particularly whenever we get in the Barrow side of things, because it seems like we go a lot of different directions. They're assembled just a little bit different. Just their structural build is made just a bit differently. But boy, the top end is always extremely good. And here lately, I think they've been as competitive as any breed for sure. We end up starting with a young lady here. She did a great job on the stick, and that Barrow hit me extremely hard when he came in. For one of those that's opened up through his chest and his blade, again, rib and body shape is what we've kind of sought after today, and always will whenever I've got the microphone here. And still at the same time from the side, I think he balances extremely well. I read that one as a bold made one that's still tall fronted, good in terms of his balance, proportionality, and even though when he goes away from you, maybe gets just a little more awkward in terms of his movement, the angle to his shoulder, maybe the set to his rear leg from the side, I think is extremely good. She drove him hard, and we drove him for just a minute, and he maintained his comfort level, and that allowed me to go ahead and let that one win. She does a great job, again, getting a really powerful one driven. I like the presence of the one that comes in second, and honestly, he ends up in the top part of the class there from the side. I think he's as level in his top line and good out of his rump as any of them there. He's probably even more expressive in the center portion of his stifle, in the middle of his ham as he leaves you. He's a bear there. The longer we drove, he actually did want to tighten just a nickel, and obviously compared to our class winner, he's not really stout right at the ground. The bear that comes out next, I think, is one of those that kind of had to decide that he wanted to be a show pig. When he first came in, his nose was kind of down and kind of wanted to root around and go a little quick. And at the same time, he's one of those that's probably one of the looser structured ones that we had there. A good built kind of a bear, I think, is just his skeletal quality allowed him to be up in the top end. Again, he was one of those that got a little bit off in his top line and just didn't give you quite the dynamic look that the top pair did. That was a really good class again. Congratulations to those kids.
And now we go to the heavyweight Durocs against six head in this particular drive as well. Placings in that lightweight Duroc class. First place was Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma. Second, Stockton Davovich from Wichita Falls, Texas. And third place was Tanner Self from Lubbock, Texas, with a creation bred by Wintex. So here in the heavy red ones, got six head, got one sent to the scales. I believe that is Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois.
And
Colton Vogue comes
Colton
in and
Vogue.
goes to the scales. That's Colton's from Whitesboro. Heavyweight class goes from 234 to 310, so kind of like the big dark cross class. Got some big boys in here.
Absolutely. You don't generally have to feed a red one as long to get to 310, though.
No, they convert.
You know, the heavyweights here and sent those three to the scales, and we've got three nice ones here. They're maybe a little more moderate in their frame size. I like their body shape. They're dimensional kind of a barrows there that, again, you step off from the side, maybe don't give you quite the look and presence that the top group that we sent to the scales there, but they're functional red barrows for sure, and the kids did a nice job. Let's put our hands together for them as they head back.
And consistent with the lightweights, six head in the class, weighed three and sent three back. The three kept here. Colton Vogue from Whitesboro, Texas, Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois, and Tanner Self from Lubbock, Texas. So first one back out here is going to be Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois. This is a Set the Curve from Byers Farms in Illinois. Next one coming out is Colton Vogue from Whitesboro, Texas, with a Bury My Bones from Bowling Show Pigs. Last bear out here in the top three in the heavyweight Durocs, Tanner Self from Lubbock with another creation from Wintex. So Tanner showed a creation from Wintex and had that lightweight here yesterday, won the lightweight class in the prospect show with another nice young little Duroc bear as well. Those creations looked awfully good. Good trio out here though.
We get this trio back out here, and I think the differences are fairly vast. Like I said, they got sent to the scales. From the side, I thought they were designed the best and gave you the best look of quality. And then of those trio, as we ask them to get on redrive, the one that wins easily has the stoutness advantage in terms of skull and particularly rear leg size, not only from the side, but you get him behind. He's got a great big column of bone that's very, very consistent there. He's got a big back, a big upper hip, and he's one of those bears there. Again, we'd like to fix him maybe up front in terms of his pasture set. We could lay him back at his shoulder and blade forearm just a nickel there, but still he maintained his comfort level. And for a big rugged one, he still gives you a really good look there from the side. The one that comes in second, maybe rounder about his forerib shape. He's probably even fresher and more youthful ahead of his blade. I like that about him. I think that gets that pair close because he's still shapely when you get him behind him. He's also just a little bit frailer about his bone work. I rate him a little shorter and steeper out of his rump, even though he gives you a nice look. He's got a bit of crest right at the top of his neck. But again, being critical of one that's fresh-bodied, round-ribbed, and the young man did a great job getting that one driven. I really do like the look and style of the one that comes in two in terms of height, the shoulder, again, where that head and neck comes out of his blade there, a level design, and another very comfortable kind of a barrel here. That young lady does an awesome job, again, on the stick. Skin and hair is awesome there. I rate him just a little bit flatter about his lower body. He is easily the most fragile in terms of his bone work, and maybe just not nearly as powerful as that top pair, but still a really good one to be in three.
Okay, wrapping up that heavyweight class, first place Tanner Self from Lubbock with a creation from Wintex. Second was Colton Vogue from Whitesboro with a Bury My Bones from Bowling Show Pigs. Third was Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois with a Set the Curve from Byers Farms. Now, show for Champion Duroc, we bring the lightweight class winner out of that lightweight class, 230-pounder Anna Frank from Covington, Oklahoma, and then our heavyweight bear exhibited by Tanner Self from Lubbock, Texas.
And we need Hampshire Class 1. Come to the ring.
As we talked about there, as we started, the red ones, maybe they're just a symbol, just a little bit different from a structural aspect sometimes, but at the same token, they're a breed that whenever we get them all sorted out, they're able to be stout, rugged kind of a hogs there that they get into there with mixed with the rest of the breeds, and they have just so much more just substance to them and still have look and balance there, and that's what these two barrows definitely represent. The lightweight barrow is probably just a bit as he should be, a little more youthful up front. He's one of those that gives you a neat look whenever he enters the ring there, and I think a bear there that opens up good through his chest. I love his forerib shape and body design that he has. He's very good in his balance and proportionality. I think he's the more comfortable fronted one there of the pair as well. The young man's barrow is obviously the stout, rugged one. He's got a huge rear leg. His set to his hock is good. He won that class because he combined that with enough look from the side. He's long and level out of his rump and still one of those that reads good enough in terms of body and muscularity for a big bear there. He maintained his composition and his look there extremely good. We talked about one to reset his shoulder, maybe his forearm and blade and front foot just a nickel there, but still an awfully good kind of a barrel. Congratulations to these two exhibitors. My preference lies with the little one. Congratulations for her for having champion.
Champion Duroc comes out of that lightweight class, exhibited by Anna Frankie from Covington.
I like the second place bear again in terms of just levelness of spine and hip design there. He's extremely good. Again, fresh skin and hair and good and round about his forerib design there. He's a little longer bodied than the others, but I don't think that's a problem at all because he still blends extremely good and kind of keeps everything together and in check. He's not as stout about his forearm, particularly his rear leg size. He wants to get a little more closed about his hoof design. The longer we drove him in class, he did want to tighten just a nickel out of his rear skeleton there, but still awfully good kind of a pig there, freshly presented. I like his maturity pattern extremely well. I guess there's just so much to that big barrel. He's going to end up being our reserve champion. Congratulations to him.
Champion again, Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma, out of the lightweight class. Reserve champion Duroc goes to Tanner Self from Lubbock, the creation from Wintex. So now move into the Hampshire breed, and we've got three classes of these hamps. We've had three classes of dark crosses. We've got three classes of hamps as well. Numbers aren't as deep in those classes, though. We got 7 here in the lightweight hamps. So as we've talked about, wanted to go ahead and recognize our sponsors for the Texas National Stock Show. Obviously, entry money gets paid back in, but we couldn't also make this show possible without our sponsors, our diamond level sponsors, Sullivan Show Supply, our gold level sponsors are Champion's Choice Oil, Hoff Schulte Show Pigs, Lindner Show Feed, Mormon Showtech. Our silver level sponsors are Second to None, Adams Fab, Amarillo by Morning Jackpot, Dan Young Show Pigs, Delm Show Pigs, Fisher Show Pigs, Flatland Show Pigs, the law offices of David Chumley, Punch Electrolytes, RW Genetics, West Texas Genetics, and Wintex Farms. And our bronze level sponsors, Byers Farms in Illinois, Byers Farms in Texas, Ram Alloys, and the Studs. So thanks very much to all of our sponsors. I appreciate them giving back to the Texas National Stock Show.
Pretty tight weight span here, 200 to 205. Looks like he's going to send Shelby Brown to the scales. Miller Beam's going to head there as well. And Parker
Wallace.
I knew his first name. He's got one of them recognizable hairdos as well, so I knew his first name was Parker.
Yeah, I don't know that I could pull that look off.
I couldn't. Probably wouldn't look as good on a 6'4", 400-pound guy. You know, we just won't do that.
We've got three of them into the scales there. This would be the next one in, and from the side, he needs to be at the very top end of the class there. But you get in behind him, we just got to change his hock in terms of squareness, and wants to roll just a nickel there, and maybe again just kind of where you draw that line and where you see things acceptable. She did a great job, and that one's got a quality look there from the side. This bear, I'd just like to extend him on both ends of his skeleton. I love his body shape and dimension that he has. Just gets a little bit jammed up there as well. This bear here is good again in terms of rib shape. He's pried open down low, extremely good. Gets a little coarser up front, maybe not quite as great of a look there ahead of his shoulder. I really like the height, the blade, and levelness design of the young lady there in the white shirt. We just need to lay his shoulder back on his body more comfortably. This is a good class for sure. It'll be an excellent top trio. Congratulations to those kids. Wish them good luck there down the road.
Got three back here in the lightweight Hampshires. First out is Shelby Brown from Lubbock with a Shug from Lindner's. Next one comes out is Miller Beam from Bartlett, Texas. That's a 1 from Wintex Farms. The final one in this trio in the lightweights, Parker Wallace from Lubbock. That's an OCD from Thurwanger Show Pigs. Good way to get our Hampshire started off. We have 3 Hampshire classes, and we'll pick a champion, a reserve champion Hamp. In the top 3 in every class get some scholarship funds. Class winners, $1,000. Second place gets $500. Third, 3. So,
Narrow Belted Barrow ends up winning this class. Again, an extremely high-quality one there in terms of look and presence. His body shape is awesome. He's got a fresh turn up top. And again, we get into this. We call it a market hog show, and obviously they're the heavier weight barrows, but that's a barrow there that it looks like we kind of just interrupt him in the middle of a feeding period. He's got a great upside in terms of future there. I think his front end's assembled extremely good. I like the angle or set to his hawk there. He's like a couple of them we talked about. He's right on the line. When you get in behind him, he wants to set him just a shot wide there, but it's hard to have that much power and that much punch and not just get a nickel outside yourself there. If we keep that managed and things mature right, he responds to the feed bucket. Genetics play through. There's a lot of factors between now and February or March, but I think that could be an awfully good one. The one that comes in second is more genuine in his shape than the one right below him. I really like the turn to that one's edge. And again, not only just in terms of his shape of back and expression of muscle one. That one ties down deep on his loin. That's actually the stoutest one in terms of skull, and the stoutest one of that top pair in terms of just in terms of rear leg size. He's a bear there. We'd like to level him out of his rump. The longer that we go, he maybe wanted to tighten just a nickel there. But again, very good in terms of his shape and height, the shoulder. And again, I thought he was just a bit better whenever you get in behind him than the next barrel here. This one's extremely level designed. I liked his presence. Again, skin and hair's awesome. He did a great job getting him ready. And he's fresh and easy on the eyes there for sure. He's a little blander about his shape there from behind. He's maybe got a little more puffiness there to his hock. For me, I need to pick him up off the ground from a maturity or frame size standpoint just a bit. Longer we drove to him, he wanted to get a little more sluggish behind and just didn't utilize his rear leg as effectively, but still extremely high quality one, level design, freshly presented. He did a great job on the stick and a nice one for sure to be in 3. Congratulations to those kids. Compliments to each one of them.
Good way to start our Hampshires lightweight class. First place went to Shelby Brown from Lubbock with a Shug from Lindner Show Pigs. Second was Parker Wallace from Lubbock with a OCD from Thurwanger Show Pigs. Third place was Miller Beam from Bartlett, Texas with a 1 from Wintex. So now move into the middleweight Hampshire class. 5 in this class. Then we'll end the breed off in the Hampshires with the heavyweight class of 6. So 5 head in the middleweight Hampshires.
Like Hayes Dean grabbing a scale. Last one in the ring, last one to the ring, first one in the ring, first one on the scale.
Brand new year, you can do so over at Club. She has got all kinds of clothing and accessories for women, kids, and
Looks like Brooks Stone, Miller Beam, and Hayes Dean all got weighed. Gonna weigh 3 out of the only 5 in this class. I mean, where else are you gonna go? There's gonna be 5 head in the class, and they're gonna pay back $1,750 in scholarships. That's how dedicated Tim is to this thing.
Here in the middle we have Miller Beam from Bartlett with a 1 from Wintex. Young man that just comes out there then is Hayes Dean from Ovala with another round from Allen Farms. And then Brooke Stone from Lakeland, Georgia with a hero from Bridges Livestock.
A really good class there, and any time, no matter what size or the class is or show that we go, I try to always communicate that if I go to the microphone quickly or pull the trigger fast, it's not just because, or it's not because I think it's easy or it's a low quality drive there. It's just it comes together fairly logically, and I'm just that kind of guy. Once I know what I'm going to do, we're just going to go ahead and do it and not drag it out. I think we have to start with this barrel right here. That's a very good kind of a barrel in terms of body shape and dimension to the the center portion of his rib. You translate that up. He's got the most spread up top. I think proportions and balances from the side extremely good. And again, like we've said so many times, even though we could prop him up front in terms of his pasturing set, he's actually the very most comfortable. He's the most collected in his top line. It just gives you a stout, rugged look there as well. The young lady's barrow that comes in next is extremely fresh and youthful about his front end, a long-bodied and long-fronted kind of a barrow there. I like that extension ahead of his shoulder, and that allows him to give him a good look there. I still think he's got enough shape and expression. When you get on top of him, he's not as pulled open in terms of being broad-backed as what the barrow that comes in first. When you get it from the side, he's almost so long-bodied. Maybe it takes away from his balance, wants to get a little weaker in his top line and mid-portion of his back there. We got a nice kind of a barrow. Fundamentally, this is a really correct kind of a barrow here as well. Good meat and potatoes every day, easy feeding one that's awesome about his body shape. There's plenty of muscle, plenty of width of skeleton there. I don't think he's quite as good from the side just from a look perspective. Maybe he gets a little off in his hip, even though I think he functions well. We could level him there and definitely stouten him up in his rear leg size there comparatively to that top two. But again, the young man does a great job driving, a fundamentally correct one there to be in third. Congratulations to those kiddos. That was a fun class to work through.
Placings in the middleweights. First place went to Hayes Dean from Ovala. That's another round from Allen Farms. Second was Brookstone from Lakeland, Georgia, with a hero from Bridges Livestock. And third place was Miller Beam from Bartlett, Texas, with a 1 from Wintex. Now move into the heavy Hampshire class, 6 head in this class. Then after the conclusion of the heavies, we'll roll into the champion drive in the Hampshires. Again, talked about the scholarships, and the first day in the Gilt Show, $41,750 was given away. Tim just showed me today in the Barrow Show, still given for those top 3 in each class, breeds and reserve breed champions, and then the top trio overall. We're divvying up about $40,500 in scholarships for those, along with the banners and awards that those kiddos will receive. So great opportunity, a great weekend here at the Texas National. Again, as we mentioned earlier, the intent and the plan is moving forward. This will be established on this particular weekend now, moving forward. So get it on your calendar so you don't have to watch it from home. You can come here and be a part of it next year. A great opportunity for your kids and family to come out for this family environment and then get an opportunity to get a couple shows in under your belt for those particular hogs as well. So great opportunity here at the Texas National Stock Show for these kids.
Like Anna Frankie and Dakota Martin going to get weighed over there. Going to wrap up our Hampshire drive here. That's going to be the heavyweight, ranging from 250 to 295. If Tim can keep his phone in his hand over there.
Well, I dropped it for him, so hopefully it'll still work.
And Morgan Wagner. That's
We in the belts
like
here with another really deep class, and I think we've got 3 interesting individuals there that we're sending back that all have even some class-leading advantages. Like this barrow right here is probably the absolute broadest backed, broadest bodied, and boldest one there. He needs to be more athletic in terms of his movement to catch the scale for me. And then we've got a barrow here that's probably as soft-bodied and pliable down low as any of them. He's fresh up top as well. I want to, again, maybe extend him on both ends of his skeleton and make him just a bit better in terms of his top line there. Maybe the most expressive hipped and stifled barrow is the young man's here on my right, and I like that one's frame size and extension well. He's a little rounder about his and bunchier about his muscle there, if you will. Maybe just a little bit plainer about his front end, but still good class for sure. We're gonna have 3 really good ones prevail out here. Let's give those 3 kiddos another big hand as they head back.
Again, kept 3 here in the top end of this heavyweight Hampshire drive. Bring out Anna Frankie first from Covington, Oklahoma. Next one coming out is Dakota Martin from Mason, Texas. That's a next play hero from Dan Young.
Oh, it's only we found the pedigree on that one.
Third, yeah, Dan getting better after that third day. So third one out here is Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois. That's a push barrow from Brenning.
Young lady in the green top shows a dense-haired one to win this particular class, and you know, we can probably compare them all, and those differences are pretty vast here. But I'm big promoting on just studying them on an individual merit. And when this one hit into the ring, I knew he was going to be awfully competitive, and one of those bears that I think is so stout and rugged in his look, and then he comes in, and you know that's a comfortable, athletic kind of a bear there that's good in his footwork as well. You know, he's one of those that I call him a very balanced bear. I think sometimes people confuse attractiveness and balance, because this is a bear that could actually be a little slicker about his jawline, but at the same time everything matches and everything fits. So he's definitely a balanced individual. Maybe not just the most expressive leaving you, but that's enough power, enough punch for me to definitely tie into him to win this particular class. Absolutely love that one's athleticism and comfort level for sure. The one that comes in too is actually bigger backed and more expressive to the top side of his body. I think he goes away from it with a notch more power than our winner as well. I like his length of body and his maturity pattern and frame size. I think it's very appropriate here. He's still a very stout skulled kind of a bear there. And again, I don't think he balances from the side quite as good as our class winner. I don't think he's nearly as big in his rear leg size, and maybe got just a little awkward as he left you. I still think that one functions extremely well for that much mass. And again, young lady's incredible on the stick. We've got the young lady that comes in 3, and she always does an awesome job there. She enters the ring with really highly presented ones. This one's height to shoulders incredible here. A big scaled level design one that has plenty of mass and muscle there. Obviously, he's a little slicker haired and a little thinner skin there, so maybe that doesn't allow him to be just as rugged and tough looking as the rest of them. But naturally, I don't think he's just stout about his skull or his rear leg. Just want to maybe toughen him up just a little bit from a feature standpoint. But that was a good class for sure. Congratulations to those girls.
End up our Hampshires, placings in the heavyweight Hamps. First place went to Dakota Martin from Mason, Texas, with a next play hero from Dan Young. Second was Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma. And third was Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois, with a push from Brenny. Now show for Champion Hamp, the lightweight class. We're bringing Shelby Brown with her 200-pounder. Shelby's from Lubbock with a shug from Lindner Showpigs. That middleweight class winner was Hayes Dean from Ovala, Texas, with another round from Allen Farms. And then our heavyweight class winner, Dakota Martin from Mason, Texas, with a next play hero from Dan Young, Showpigs. Nice set of class winners here in this Hampshire division.
Well, again, I thought the quality on the top was extremely good, and was very committed that these 3 need to be the class winners fairly easily. And then they come out here and they offer so many differences. I think there could be a lot of varied opinions ringside of the direction that you go, and I definitely think these 3 exhibitors should be proud of them, and definitely one of those that'll be competitive no matter who's in the ring. But again, you put your emphasis a little different, draw those lines of acceptability at a different spot just a bit, or maybe just hit you on that first look or that initial impression just a little bit differently. All 3 of these, I think, could end up being our winner here. But we'd start totaling them out here. I think we've got the young lady that won that first class, and that one may be truly the very best looking up through his front end, a fresh presented one. I love his head shape. I love his ear set, where his neck comes out of the top of his blade. His body dimension is extremely good. An attractive and balanced one for sure. That's enough bone for me. Some guys would say we could stouten him just a bit. For me, that's plenty there, and he's probably actually the very best in terms of pasturing strength. We talked about in class. He maybe wants to set just a nickel wide as he goes away from you. Obviously, if we continue to manage him and keep things together and things play out like we said in class, I think that one will be awfully competitive in the end. One that hit me extremely good, won that middleweight class. He's the longest hipped one of these trio. I think he's got a lot of dimension when you study him up top there as well. Level design, and again, hip and hind leg utilization is extremely good there. He's a bear that maybe not quite as just fresh in his look as the other 2. I want to open him up through his sternum as he comes right at you. But again, that one hit me extremely hard. The young man's got a good project for sure. Young ladies that won that last class, as we commented before, it's just sheer athleticism and ability to get and go at a little bit faster clip. That's a loose jointed one that's got great angles. I read him extremely stout about his arm and his rear leg, and one of those that's a big rear-legged one that's still clean enough about his joints and good in his rear footwork there as well. I read him and have enough muscle dimension. He's broad up top, and I think he's got a dense muscle pattern there. He can maybe be just a nickel more shapely maybe in his muscle as you get away from him, but there's a lot of content there. And again, that's the sheer athlete of the set for sure. Congratulations to each one of them. That big one hit me really hard when he came in. Let's give her a big round of applause for having Champion Hamp.
Champion Hamp comes out of the heavyweight class. That's Dakota Martin from Mason, Texas, with a next play hero from Dan Young. Now bring in Anna Frankie from Covington, Oklahoma, to show for reserve.
Young lady brings the second to that champion. It may be truly the very biggest backed one that we have in the champion Hamp group. Stout about her skull there as well. Long body, kind of a barrow there, but she makes it work. And as we commented, I like them to have just a little more length and frame size than maybe some, because we need them to still be able to perform at some kind of a mark there. For me, I don't know if he just gives you as good of a look, or maybe is as balanced of a profile, or maybe bone work behind doesn't match up top quite as well, but still that's a really good one as well. It comes down between the other two, though, and again, as we talked about in each one of them, we get this high quality set up top. Push comes to shove, I'm going to always use the sounder one. That's the middleweight Barrow. Congratulations to that young man for having reserve Hamp.
Reserve champion Hampshire comes out of the middleweight Hampshire class. That's Hayes Dean from Ovala with another round from Allen Farms. Congratulations to our Hampshire exhibitors. Good Hampshire show. We now roll right into our light cross division. Have two classes of light crossbreds, 7 in each class. First class is 202 to 219. This is our first class of light crossbreds, lightweight light crossbreds out here, 7 head. As we begin this division, got 6 of them out here waiting on one more to get in. Nice set out here. Kelton's doing a really good job of being deliberate, making sure he finds the ones he wants to send to the scales. He's gathered 2 up, sending them that away now.
Certainly a challenging class here. We put 4 of the 7 in, and obviously it took just a second to do, and I still think we could allow these other 3 to go. Great body, level design one here that gets just a little bit plainer when you get in behind him. Same goes here. I love the body shape and the copper colored one. There's enough muscle there as well. I don't know if he's quite as good in his look, and again, strengthening him right at the surface. The absolute stoutest one is the young lady in the yellow top there. Really big muscled and still stout enough about his feature and bone work. He gets too straight off of either end of his body for me today, but still really good kind of a pick. Let's give those 3 kiddos a big hand as they head back there to the barn.
Sending 3 back, kept 4 here in the lightweight light crosses. Got Jade Stone from Stanton, Texas in a pin. Cash Mosier from Holiday, Texas is in a pin. Cole Cherry from Toller, Texas in a pin. I'm not sure who the 4th one is yet.
Danzer Bailey.
Danzer Bailey, yes, from Jacksboro, Texas. So.
Go away, Melissa.
Again, here we drive top 4 here in the lightweight light crosses.
Another nice set of light crosses, and I'm sure most of these things are probably going to end up at San Angelo. I mean, if they're Texas bred, I guess we can roll them on into Austin. But those are two shows that separate the blues, and that's good.
Yeah, I'd say this size is probably, you're right, at Angelo's. So
Yeah, Austin one showed yesterday, I guess. I don't know. You never know anymore.
you're exactly right.
Looks like Jade Stone wins the class with a nice barrow.
Like I said, a couple of these competitive classes, send them to the scales as we in kind of a random order, and knew they'd be at the top, but didn't know exactly how they would they come together. We ended up starting with the young man there in the striped shirt in the middle, and obviously everybody ringside. And I hate to start off with the negatives. We all see he has that gland swelling and inflammation there behind his sheath there. But at the same token, for me, is one of those bears there that offers such a good head shape and skull design. He's square in his build. He's good in his upper hip dimension as well. He's a greener and more youthful kind of a barrow, or I guess a more immature kind of a barrow than a couple of the other ones that we have in here. Obviously we have a weight limit, and I'd say he's probably right at it there for sure. He's one of those that could develop and maybe freshen in his rib just a bit. Again, we want to rid him of that swelling. Nobody's actually given me a logical reason of why that happens or any economic value there, so I'm not going to single trade him and beat one just for that. Then we got one that comes in too that's extremely fresh up top. Got a good look about his ear set's good. I think he's one of those that's really good in terms of his pin set as well. From the side and probably on the park, he's maybe as good as any of them because he's fresh bodied, he's level designed, and a tall shouldered kind of a barrow there. Ask him to go and study his travel. He gets the shortest and quickest to step off of either end of his skeleton of really the top four that we have there. But I just thought he had so much dimension up top that he needed to be up in the top pair. Actually, the very best skeleton one lands in 3, and the angle to his shoulder, hip, and rear leg design's tremendously good in this particular barrow here. Because his skeleton is assembled so well, I think he too balances together and kind of keeps himself collected as good as any of them. He needs to be opened up just a bit more in terms of his chest and have a notch more power whenever he leaves you. He's a bear that could just be freshened up. He kind of looks like one that we may be squeezing on and maybe just kind of managing from a weight perspective when we're able to kind of pour it to him, right kind of additives and things together. His skeleton can handle it, and that'll be an awfully good one there today. In the end, today he just need to be a bit fresher. From the side, I thought he was a bit leveler and stronger behind his blade and just gave you a more balanced look there again than the bear that comes in next. This one probably have more muscle expression in the center portion of his stifle, and he's got a little extra set to his rear leg, but at the same time, I think he functions extremely well. Again, from the profile, though, we've just got to blend him better there behind his blade, maybe fix him out of his rump ever so slightly. But his functionality, tied with some muscularity, allowed him to be up there in the top 4. Congratulations to him. That was a good class of white ones for sure.
Good top 4 there in our lightweight light crossbred class. First place went to Jade Stone from Stanton, Texas. Jade's barrow was a hero from Gary Todd Showpigs. Second place was Danzer Bailey from Jacksboro, Texas. That's a disciple from Warwood Showpigs. Third place was Cash Mosier from Holiday, Texas with a Spread the Word. And fourth place was Cole Cherry from Toller, Texas with a hero bred by Bridges Livestock. So good set there in the lightweight light crosses. Now roll into the heavyweight light cross class. 7 entries in this class as well. Ranging from 220 to 310 here in the heavyweight light crossbreds. Cole, did you make any New Year's resolutions?
No. I got tired of lying to myself years ago. New year, new me. Nope, same me. I'm the same person I was yesterday.
All rolled over, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't really care. It was good.
Yeah, after the last couple of years with COVID and seeing what could happen and could be taken away, I mean, it sure just makes you appreciate every day you're here and getting to do what you want to do.
I live every day like it's my last one. May not be the best financially, but best financial decision to live every day like it's my last one, but it's the best one. It's the one I made.
2 of them headed to the scales here, looks like.
Little Bowling and Allie Bridges.
Allie Bridges from Toller, Texas. Bryson Bowling from Covington, Oklahoma.
Last night they were playing football, and that Bryson, he got speared right on the arm, and I thought he was going to die, but they got him. He caught his breath, unwatered his glasses, and kept on playing. That's a tough little dude right there, too.
As we said, we still have quality going back. This is probably as tall fronted and level designed as any of them. I wanted to fix him maybe in a way that his feet came to the surface there from behind. I like this bear's body shape, level hip, and I think he's got a functional rear leg. He's not as fresh about his front end, chest, and maybe fix his posturing just a bit, but that's a functional, good-bodied one for sure. This is as stout of one as we have to work with. Again, presence from this side maybe fell short today, but again, just in terms of mass, that one's at the very top end of the class. Good job to those kiddos. They got a good set of them. Okay, we wish them all good luck there down the road.
In 7 ahead here, kept 4 that we're going to rework. We've got Colton Vogue from Whitesboro, Texas in a pin. Allie Bridges from Toller, Texas in a pin. Bryson Bowling from Covington, Oklahoma in a pin. The young lady here in the blue
That
shirt.
is
headed
Presley
in.
Graves.
Presley Graves from Stephenville, Texas, headed into a pin. Now we're back. That's a young livestock one, and that's an Ask Dan. So
That Ass Dan's a good boar. Very prolific this week.
yeah, he's sired them all from young livestock. So here, first out, Bryson Bowling from Covington, Oklahoma. That's a Savage from Kirk Morgan, the big guy in this class, weighing in at 310.
I have to say, that young man could nearly saddle him up and ride him and not exceed the weight limit.
That's exactly right.
But that thing has got some big paws on him. It's a good pig.
Yeah, hard to keep a big one like that together, and they've done a great job with that one. So next out is Allie Bridges from Toller, Texas, with a Hero from Bridges Livestock. That girl's had a very good show, had a blue gilt she showed the first day, I think, that ended up in reserve, and just a very nice set that girl's drove.
I agree that gilt. I guess they'll roll her into Hood County there the middle of next week, and ought to have some success there. That's a good gilt as well. And most of Allie's pigs this week have been just homebred. You know, they bred them themselves, and her dad does a pretty good job of keeping her in some good pigs. I guess that's.
Colton Vogue comes out here in the blue shirt, young man from Whitesboro, Texas. That's a full throttle from Trogdon. Then the young lady, Presley Graves from Stephenville, Texas. That's a young livestock Barrow. Again, not sure how what that one's out of, but another good Barrow from young livestock. Good way to end up our light crossbred drive. 4 really competitive ones here in this heavyweight drive. As soon as we get done with this class, we'll roll in and pick our champion and reserve champion light cross. Again, those kids that class winners get $1,000 scholarship. Second get $500. Earlier kind of made a bobble. The third place Barrow gets $250, not $300 in scholarship. And then as you continue to be successful in those breeds, it kind of starts to add up. So if you get a breed champion out here in one of these breeds, $1,500 scholarship committed for your future learning, then $1,250 for the reserve. So kind of talk about that future learning. We haven't delved into that. That's money that's available for utilization of education at any level, any school, anywhere. Technical school, trade school, junior college, senior college, not locked into any state. So
No.
Great opportunity for education.
We've already had some kids cash in some of theirs at junior colleges as well, and it was perfectly fine.
Took just a little more time here on the heavyweight light crosses, and I think, again, we get 4 really nice individuals out here. The top pair probably resemble each other just a bit more than the other pair, but still at the same time, there's a big spread in terms of size and maturity, and we get them kind of segmented in the Market Hog show, but I was expecting that to happen because we've got different endpoints and different things to go out here, and so you kind of have to evaluate them again just on an individual merit, and then compare them where you can. The young man's Barrow is so stout, and that is one of those that's an interesting creature. As he comes in, he's one that no matter who you are, you've got to be impressed with that one's stout head and skull and blade, and still one of those that's square about his chest. He's got a monster back, and actually even a bigger pin set. He's dimensional as he leaves you there for sure, and made a great big kind of a Barrow there, and still maintained his presence. You know, we could be critical. Sometimes we get them so level hipped, and their hock gets a little bit straighter. We maybe like them to have a bit more bend and flex there. Relative to his size, he could be a bit fuller in his flank, but we are being critical because, like I said, that's an impressive individual that hits you hard on that first onset as he comes in the ring, no matter, again, who you are. I think that one's always got to surface up top. The other blue belted one needs to follow, and probably was the debate for me of whether we start this Barrow. He's more immature in his look, which he should, because obviously he's given up some weight and some size there. He's a Barrow that I prefer in terms of body shape, depth of flank, and fullness through his midrib. He too's got a big spread up top and a great balance look there from the profile. Honestly, if he can maintain his comfort level and flex and give a bit better off of his rear too, I would have went ahead and tied into him. But the longer that we drove, he actually wanted to hinder and maybe get more restricted there than maybe ideal. And so he ends up sliding in second. I liked his muscle shape, expression, and just presence even just a bit better than the red one here. This one's body shape is good. Fundamentally, this is a good kind of a Barrow, and honestly, of those four that we weighed, this one's probably truly the most flexible, and so we always want to put emphasis there. But at the same time, whenever we got this high caliber group there, he didn't have those far outreaching pieces in terms of shape and power expression when he got up on top of him. There's what the top pair did, but it's still very functional, very good kind of a Barrow to be in three. I liked him better in terms of levelness of hip, and again, I think he utilized his rear leg just a bit more effectively than the next Barrow here. This one's fresher about his midrib. He's probably square about his edge as well. He's a flatter-footed kind of a Barrow up front. Want to just kind of drag his rear leg behind him and not actually plant and push and use it quite as good as what the top group did, or maybe the red one there right ahead of him did, and that's why he slid in four. But again, young man continually brings highly presented, well-fitted kind of a pigs there that offer tons of quality. This is just a competitive set of white crosses. Congratulations to each one of those exhibitors. It's going to be a fun champion drive.
Placings there in the heavyweight light cross class. First place went to Bryson Bowling from Covington, Oklahoma, with a Savage from Kurt Morgan. Second was Allie Bridges from Tolar, Texas, with a Hero from Bridges Livestock. Third place was Presley Graves from Stephenville with a Young Livestock Barrow. Fourth place was Colton Vogue from Whitesboro with a Full Throttle from Charlton. Now showing for champion light cross, bringing first and seconds out. So that lightweight class, we've got Jade Stone from Stanton with a Hero from Gary Todd Show Pigs.
You know, starting about 2 or 3 years ago, we separated these blues at most of the shows there, and everybody got kind of the rhetoric around or reasoning behind it was to kind of give the blues a fighting chance against those blacks or those belted ones. And I can tell you, as a set of breeders, y'all have done a nice job of getting them put together. I used the blue one to win the show last night, and probably in the last 12 months, I've already used the blue one Grand or Reserve as many times as I had a black or a chromed up one for sure. And so by no means is it an off-breed or one of those that's just kind of the castaways anymore. It's a competitive drive, as you see in the quality here. We had a lightweight set that offered some variability, minus the lymph nodes of the Barrow that won. I like that one quite a bit. His skull shape and design, squareness of build is extremely good. Obviously, that takes away from his just look there from the side, and his aesthetics maybe isn't quite as good there. But when that one freshens up, and if we can kind of tuck that just a nickel, I think that's a competitive pig there. Second's fresh-backed and round-bodied, and he had the freshness advantage of that particular pair. Like we said, at the backdrop, he'll probably take even a better picture. I just didn't think he went as good off of either end of his body, but still high-quality one to be in, too. The ones that just won that big class there, I thought they were very impressive individuals when they come in. Not only are their skin and hair is awesome, they're clipped and fit extremely good, presented extremely good as show bearers out here, but like that one that won that class is so stout about his skull. His ear set's great. He comes at you just extremely powerful, and still at the same time, I think his front end's assembled good. That's a monster back and even a bigger pin set there as well. You know, we could be critical and maybe bend his hock just a nickel. Same goes with the second place Barrow. If that one could get and go just a little bit more comfortably, he could end up being our winner, because I like his flank and body so well. Just as we talked about, that's a high quality individual for sure. Congratulations to all these White Cross exhibitors. The two heavyweights are going to be our champion and reserve champion. Let's give them a hand.
So there you have it. Our champion light cross comes out of the heavyweights. That was Bryson Bowling from Covington, Oklahoma, with a Savage from Kurt Morgan. Reserve champion light cross was second in the heavies. That was Allie Bridges from Tolar, Texas, with a Hero from Bridges Livestock. So congratulations to all of our light crossbred exhibitors. Like we're going to take maybe a short break.
Spots.
Been to the spots. We got one class of spots with 4 in it. We got one class of white OPBs with 7, and then a big Yorkshire show. Got 2 classes of Yorkshires as we end out our Barrow show today, 8 in the lights and 7 in the heavies. So be staying close. We've got, like I say, 3 more breeds, 4 more classes before we roll into our champion drive today in the Barrow show. We'll be doing a top 5 overall. So hang tight, and we'll have a finish up of our show, especially if you were watching one of those breed champions from earlier and want to see how they get along.
Village people. Live crew.
It has been a fun weekend, Cole, and they keep it light. They play some really good music, all kinds of music. I've heard some music I didn't know about. I've heard some music I did know about. But
even though they won't play any 2 live crew, but that's okay. It's
probably a good
little
reason
much for this
on
crowd.
Sunday, maybe that should have been Saturday afternoon kind of
Yeah,
stuff to keep us away.
I guess so.
But yeah, it's been a really fun weekend, and I can't say that enough. I mean, folks, if you're looking for something to do on a holiday weekend like New Year's, I'd definitely keep this in mind if you're feeding livestock, because the environment around here, we've talked about it off and on too. I mean, Cole mentioned earlier the football game. I mean, as soon as we can get these rings cleared, these kids just fill this ring and
yeah, they're sitting there at the Grand Drive picking teams, you know.
So those are probably as entertaining as the Hawk show's been. So kids really having a good time.
I saw
out here
more
being
heart put
kids.
into that game than I did in some of those games last night. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And
This,
they didn't have pads on.
This spot deal yesterday I thought was real deep in the prospect show, and it looks like we've got probably at least 2 of them in here again. But I thought the spots were as deep in, as deep as I've seen, because that breed kind of seemed to be struggling the last few years. But that one that won yesterday was very elite. Reserve was as well. So.
I totally agree, and even back to the first day in that gilt show, I mean, we had one class of these things. I think there was 9
They were real
head.
good.
They were very, very good spot hogs.
Well, with only 4 spots, I thought the quality was extremely good with all 4 individuals there. And I think this is a breed that probably, as we kind of went through things the last couple of years, for me, has been a little bit more of a challenge, mainly structurally. And yet at the same time, these 4 are assembled pretty well. With that being said, we have a clear-cut winner. I think this guy is an absolute stud for this particular breed. Let's congratulate the young lady with the peak shirt. She's got our class winner, our champion, with one that's got an awesome look. He's sound, he's correct, he's square built. He's a bear there that puts a lot of good together. Congratulations to her. Young man, you've got a really good one. You just kind of came into a class with a war horse for me. This one's actually even bolder about his rib and his body. He's stout about his skull and his rear leg. I think he functions extremely good there. He doesn't have as much shape there, the seat of his pants. Maybe doesn't quite as good of a look up front, but it's actually his look and presence that places him over the one that comes in 3. This one's soft-bodied, really rugged and stout in his look. A dense-made kind of a pig, if you will. At the same time, he's a little deeper about his throat, maybe a little crestier up top, a little waistier there through his front end. Just mainly, he just needs more look and attractiveness from the side for me. But if you just tie into body shape and stoutness, he's still a flexible kind of a barrow, so you could actually move him a spot up. The one that comes in 4 is one of those that has as much shape as any of them, maybe truly the heaviest muscled when you get in behind him. And he's a barrow. He came in very first in class, and I said, well, we'll just have to call this one flexible enough and rise him up to the top end of the group. But we got got into a group of spot bearers that had more flex and give, and that one could just go just a bit more comfortably. That's still a high quality one to be in for. Let's give all those kiddos a big round of applause. That was a good breed for sure.
And we've talked about that in a lot of these breeds, Cole, and even yesterday. I mean, maybe numbers weren't great, but man, the quality. Those were 4 good spot barrows, and started off with a first-place champion spot barrow exhibited by Avery Mabry from Weatherford. That's a say win from Jennings Show Pigs. Reserve champion was Cole Cherry from Toller. Don't have the genetics on that one, but a nice barrow. Third place was Cooper Holman from Comfort with a boombox from CC Show Pigs, and fourth was Addison Mayo from Weatherford with another big spot barrow. So good class, just 4 in that spot, but 4 really good ones. So now roll into the white OPBs. So Chester's, Landracer, down-eared white classifying ones out here in this particular breed of Chester's, or class white OPBs, range in weight from 205 to 297, one class of these things. And after this class of white OPBs, we'll have 2 classes of Yorkshires, and then we'll roll into our champion drive for the Barrow Show today.
I might be done by lunch. Looks like we will be.
Yep.
I'll be home by 3 and take you a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check on a few bears on the way home, and gives me a little bit more time to do that. So.
Yep.
Got a few going to the scales, maybe 4 head already. Here's Kelton.
As we get those weighed, we only have a white OPB, a mix of Chesters and Landraces, and I think we've got a good barrow. This would have been the next one in. His body shape is right. He's a more moderate frame kind of a barrow, and maybe just doesn't proportion from the side quite as well as those ones that hit the scales, but that one's sound and functional for sure. A good Landrace barrow in terms of being scripted about his jawline and having some shape. Got a little more rigid off of either end of his body. Same goes with the other Landrace barrow here. This one's more moderate in his length, and I think round about his forerib shape. He's a barrow there. We just got to make him get and go more comfortably out of his rear too. There's a good class there. It's going to be a nice top end. Let's give those kiddos a big hand.
Got 4 kept here again in this one class of white OPBs. Got Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois, Hagen Weininger from Wichita Falls, Brooke Fort from Burke Burnett. We'll catch what the other young lady here that's in the top 4 here in the white OPBs. But again, a pretty big range here. We've got the 2 heaviest and the 2 lightest in this particular class here in the final 4. Looks like that other one is going to be Olivia Deaver from Keensburg, Colorado, with a Mercy Me from Rock Ridge. Olivia is the one that's left out in the middle of the ring. One that just comes out there is Hagen Weininger from Wichita Falls. Don't have any genetics on that little barrow, but that barrow was our champion white OPB yesterday in the Prospect Barrow Show. Brooke Fort comes out with a 210-pounder. That's Brooks from Burke Burnett. That's a big screen from Team Sloan. And our next one is the heaviest barrow in the drive, 297-pounder from Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois. That's a show-off from Yantis Show Pigs. Again, as we talked about today in the Barrow Show, scholarship commitments, $40,500 will be committed in scholarship funds. So,
You didn't make any?
Well, again, just one class. We ended up with 4 Chester Barrows out here on that surface to the top. And for me, it's a 2-pair class. And then we have a top pair of them that offered a lot of quality and shape. And I think they're actually the soundest ones of those top 4 that we weighed. The one that ends up getting the nod and is our champion of the wide OPB group is more unique in terms of his skull shape and design there from the side. He's stronger and more collected in his top line and very genuine in terms of his loin shape and back dimension there. I read him extra stout, but for this breed, he's too clean. He is also clean about his joints and square in his footwork there. He wanted to fight her just a little bit and wanted to shuffle ever so slightly behind, but the angle to his joints are very good. And then again, a unique kind of a Chester Barrow to win. I like the Barrow in 2 quite a bit. Again, fundamentally, that's a very good Barrow in terms of forerib and body shape. He's sound and correct out of his hip and his rear leg for sure. He's a Barrow there that the longer we drove, he actually wanted to get a little easier in his top line. I think he's got a little bit more cheek and throat compared to our class winner. And again, just not as unique about his skull, but still, that's a very good one. And for this breed, for that one to utilize his hip and hind leg that effectively, I think that one will always be very, very competitive. He did a great job getting him presented. That rear leg and just structural qualities what placed him over the extra stout one that comes in next. This is a bold body kind of a Barrow that has as much power as any of them there. At the same time, he is a little shorter about his neck and front end there. Read him straighter up through his shoulder and more rigid out of his hock. Again, he wasn't as athletic or maybe just as comfortable on the go as the Barrow that beat him, but at the same time, that is a huge backed one. And he's got more bone and just general stoutness than the big Barrow that comes in next. I like this one's scale and elevation that he has. He still has enough spread up top. Maybe he wants to base just a little bit narrower as he leaves you. He is easily the most fragile about his footwork. And again, the longer we drove him, he too wanted to get just a little bit stiffer. Again, great job on the stick and a competitive set of wide OPBs. Good job to each one of those kiddos.
Again, just the one class in the wide OPB. So first place in champion, breed champion, $1,500 scholarship to Brooke Fort from Burke Burnett with a big screen from Team Sloan Livestock. Second place in reserve champion wide OPB was exhibited by Hagen Weininger from Wichita Falls. Third place was Olivia Deaver from Keensburg, Colorado with a Mercy Me from Rock Ridge. And fourth place was Morgan Wagner from Canton, Illinois with a show off from Yantis. Now roll into our final breed. Again, 2 classes of Yorkshires, 8 head in this first class. Weight range from 200 to 220.
You need a small sweatshirt. They got 5 left.
Cole, I think if we bought those 5 small sweatshirts, we could sew them together and make one sweatshirt that you and I could trade out and wear occasionally.
I might talk to Brooke and Brandon. This is the 3rd year in a row they promised me they'd make one big enough for me and didn't.
You could get 2 and put one on each arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they were going to probably have to reevaluate possibly their sizes that they ordered. I think they sold out very quickly of the larges and extra larges. So
A bunch of them, yeah.
what was that saying you said yesterday? You had some kind of quote yesterday about your size, that you get big because you eat too much.
I'm fat because I eat too much, and I eat too much because I'm fat. So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Looks like Bradley Lacey, Miss Pugh, Shelby Brown, and
Actually, one of the bigger classes comes in the Yorkshire deal, and this is obviously another breed's kind of been up and down the last few years, and we worked hard to make these white crossbreds, but at the same time, it's just been a challenge. And this is a good deep set. Those top 4 are going to be a lot of fun to work with. If we fresh into that Barrow up on the far side, I think he could end up getting in, height the shoulder, and look from the profile is extremely good. Again, just needs to be fresher, and we've got time to do that. But today, we interrupt him. He just maybe fell short there. I'd like to stouten this guy up just a bit. Same goes with the young ladies Barrow, and a real stout, wide-bodied one here that, again, we just need to make a bit more sure-footed right there at the surface. But still, great class. It's going to be fun to work through the top end. I wish all these kids good luck down the road. Let's give them a big hand.
And kept 4 head in here. Kaylin Pugh, Ashlyn Pugh, Riley Lacey, and Shelby Brown will be the 4 that will be driving back out here to show for the top end here in the lightweight class of Yorkshires, again ranging from 200 to 220. Like we're going to leave him out here. The red shirt out here is Shelby Brown from Lubbock. That's a Walks Alone from Sanders Show Pigs. I believe the other one out here in the ring at this time is Kaylin Pugh. That's a true story from True Genetics. Ashlyn Pugh comes out of the holding pen here in the black sweater. It's a Not For Everyone from DL Show Pigs. And then our final finalist here in the lightweight Yorkshires is in the pen. That's Briley Lacey from Howe, Texas. That's a Wham, bred by Fortner and Holland Show Pigs. Good trio. Saw a few of these. I think we saw 3 of these 4 yesterday. And then this Lacey Barrow weighs a little bit more. I know that Barrow, though, has had a very successful run already. So very,
Yes.
very competitive lightweight.
A couple
Yorkshire
litter mates of
class.
that bear have done some winning too, so that's a pretty good litter there that JR and Jacob put together. Like Bradley Lacey wins it with the Wham barrel.
Like I said, I knew this was going to be a high-quality set of Yorks on the top end, and we have a very unique one to win. Again, just look and presence ahead of his blade is unmatched and maybe as good as we've seen today in terms of a skull shape and where that neck lays on top of his shoulder there. A neat kind of a barrel there that has such a look and presence and still opens up stout about his forearm, stout about his blade and his forerib. He blends so good, and all of his transition points there, and just looks like a stout, rugged one that has class and presence there. Maybe gets just a nickel funny as he leaves you right at the surface. He's one of those that could probably freshen up, and I think whenever we're able to feed him again, one of those everything might even come together even that much better. That's just the impression that it gives me, but that one hit me awfully hard whenever he entered the ring, and again, a very, very high quality, unique one to win. The young lady's barrel that comes in second is awfully good as well, and honestly, if we just started nickel and diamond and comparing them, he actually has more spread out of the top side of his blade. He's a broader backed one that has more dimension whenever he leaves you. He's not the stoutest legged, but for me, that's enough bone work, enough forearm, enough rear leg size, and still I think he utilizes his structure extremely well. Where he doesn't maybe stack up to the barrel that won is just, again, in terms of that skull shape and presence ahead of his blade there, has a little bit of crest and maybe just a little bit more at the base of his neck, but still awfully good one there. Just ended up being in a class with again, kind of a buzzsaw, kind of a pig to win. We've got 3 and 4. The young lady here in the pink scarf ends up being in 3, and again, I think this pair was close. There's more body shape. There's a longer body barrel here that has more hip length and hip dimension than the barrel that comes in next. He too, we could trim him up front just a bit. He was just a little sluggish when he goes. Once he kind of got to a comfort level, I think he uses his rear leg effectively enough that at the same time when he first came in, he was kind of slow and sluggish and just didn't know if he was comfortable enough. Again, a barrel there that offers a lot of dimension, and his center body mass and again length of hip and squareness to his pins is what placed him over the 1 and 4. I prefer the 4th place barrel's jawline. He's more scripted up front, and I think a barrel that offers a lot of genuine shape there. He's a barrel there again today. Gets a little flatter rib, a little shorter, and maybe a little narrower there to his pins, but this was a really, really good class. Congratulations to those young ladies. Sure enough, wish them good luck. They've got a competitive set of Yorkshires.
Good way to start off our Yorkshire breed. Class winner there, a 220-pounder from Briley Lacey from Howe, Texas. That's a Wham from Fortner and Holland Show Pigs. Second place was Ashlyn Pugh from Ackerley, Texas, with a Not For Everyone from DL Show Pigs. Third place was Kaylin Pugh from Ackerley, Texas, with a True Story from True Genetics. And fourth was Shelby Brown from Lubbock, Texas, with a Walks Alone from Sanders Show Pigs. So good start to our Yorks. Now we go to the heavyweight class, our final class of the day. We'll roll into our breed champion in the Yorks and then our overall champion drive for the top 5 here in the Barrow Show. But heavyweight Yorks ranging from 225 to 263. Like Lily Ford catches or heads to the scales.
Miller Beams going that way as well.
we're getting these bigger Yorkshires, and maybe some things start shining through a bit more, but the depth of quality is good. It's a very consistent class there, and maybe just small things that we could change. Young lady's bear there is big-bodied and heavy muscled. I want to level his rump and stouten him right at the surface. Long-bodied bear here that's got some shape. He looks fresh and youthful. Maybe just doesn't balance from the side quite as well. Same goes with the young man's there on the far side. Deep-bodied. He blends good behind his shoulder, but gets a little rounder out of his hip, and maybe ran out of just muscle shape and power when he got in behind him, but very functional kind of a barrow for sure. Let's give those kids another big hand here on the final class of big barrows.
I know, yeah, Brody. I think that's his sister showing, I believe.
First and second place from Yorkshire Class 1. Get the ring to get ready for the championship drive.
No, I think just sister wanted one last hoorah. What Dad said yesterday. Looks like we kept.
Okay, here in the heavy Yorks, we've kept 4 back. Again, we think our finalists are out here. I believe this is Gentry Locke out here in the black sleeve sweater from Miami, Texas, with a Let's Go Brandon from Wintex. Lily Ford comes out here in the yellow sweater from Weslaco, Texas, with a take cover from Reed Livestock. Miller Beam comes out of the Holden Pen from Bartlett, Texas. That's a Let's Go Brandon from Wintex as well.
That is Colby Florence in the vest there.
Colby Florence out here in Mansfield, Texas, with a Barrow from S Squared Show Pigs. So 4 nice big Yorkshire Barrows to finish up our Yorkshire drive. Like Miller Beam's going to be 3rd, and Colby Florence 4th, and let Kelton talk to the other pair.
I think a good class to end on here, because we're able to start with one that's kind of exemplifies some of the things that we've talked about, of keeping hogs there that have some look and balance, and more so balance because everything matches and fits. That's still a tall shoulder bear, dead level in his top line, and he's easily the most functional out of his hip and his rear leg. A square moving one that's opened up good at the floor of his chest. He's good in his center body. Just a really stout kind of a Yorkshire bear that just functions so much better than the rest of the field in this particular set. He's not maybe as fresh and as fitted as the one that comes in second, and honestly at this stage I probably wouldn't have peeled him back from a hair standpoint either, but at the same time that is the advantage for the one that comes in 2, because he comes in and looks just a little more youthful, maybe again a little fresher about his skin and hair and presentation. He has more look about his jawline, more extension ahead of his shoulder, so that's not a clear-cut pair, because I think that one is the one that hits you hard again from a present standpoint. Heavy-legged kind of a bear there that I read just a little shorter and rounder out of his hip, a little more awkward and maybe not as comfortable on the go, but still very good barrow to be in too. The one that comes in 3rd is a stout barrow from a muscle standpoint. He reads dense there about his body, and one of those that goes away from you wide and square there as well. Again, he too is a little shorter and deeper about his neck compared to those top 2. He wanted to narrow in his chest just a bit coming at you, but he's leveler in his top line, definitely leveler out of his hip than the next barrow that comes in. This one was able to go to the scales because of his genuine shape to the top side of his body. He had more look and presence again about his front end than the ones that we had left in the ring there. At the same time, he wants to get steeper out of his rump. He's tilted more forward and stilty up through his shoulder and knee, but still a good high quality kind of a barrow. Young lady presented extremely well.
Placings in our final class in the heavy Yorks. First place went to Gentry Locke from Miami, Texas, with a Let's Go Brandon from Wintex. Second was Lily Ford from Weslaco with a take cover from Reed Livestock. Third was Miller Beam from Bartlett with a Let's Go Brandon from Wintex. And 4th was Colby Florence from Mansfield with a barrow raised by S Squared Show Pigs. Now show for our champion York, our final breed champion of today. Out of the lightweights, we bring in Briley Lacey with her 220-pounder. Briley's from Howe, Texas. That's a Wham from Fortner and Holland. Then our heavyweight, exhibited by Gentry Locke. She's out here in the black sweater, or one of the ones in the black sweater. Out of the heavyweight class, Let's Go Brandon from Wintex. We'll bring those seconds out then as well. Here's Kelton.
Well, I actually think we had a really competitive Yorkshire drive. We had those two classes that had some numbers in them, and so there were some things that we could use and sort and kind of go around there. We've got a pair of lightweights. The young ladies did a great job presenting skin and hair and presentation. They're awesome on the stick. They're both very stout make kind of a barrows. There was obviously an extremely unique one that won that class in terms of look and presence, and gives you a good first impression, and then start studying him further. That's just an awfully good kind of a show barrow there for sure. That second place barrow, we said, actually bettered him in terms of chest width and broadness up top. Still a functional kind of a barrow there. We could slick him up front just a nickel, but still he balances well, and I still call him an attractive kind of a barrow there. The heavyweights, we were able to use an extremely functional, powerful kind of a barrow there. I like his body dimension. I like his spread up top for sure. He won that class because he functioned easily the best out of his hip and his rear leg. He too could be freshened up just a little bit there in terms of presentation, maybe make him a little more youthful up front. I don't know if his bones may be as massive when you get out here compared to that stoutness that he has up top, but still a very good, functional, good kind of a Yorkshire barrow for sure. The second one is stouter. He probably even has that much more look, and definitely a little fresher kind of a barrow, as we just talked about. Got a little awkward behind, but he doesn't hurt the quality at all and matches up really well here in the champion group. So congratulations. These four young ladies have a good set of Yorkshires. This was a competitive show for sure. I like the lightweights the best, though. Congratulations to those two young ladies for champion reserve.
Our representatives and our scholarship winners out of our Yorkshire breed come out of the lightweight class. Your champion Yorkshire, a $1,500 scholarship plus some banner and awards to Briley Lacey from Howe, Texas, with a Wham from Fortner and Holland Show Pigs. Reserve champion Yorkshire, $1,250 scholarship and a banner. Ashlyn Pugh, not everyone from DL Show Pigs. Ashlyn is from Ackerley, Texas. So congratulations to our final breed and reserve breed champion there in the Yorkshires. Now we roll into a champion drive. We'll do a top 5 here in the Barrow Show, and then we'll wrap up our show for this year. So appreciate everybody tuning in today. Hopefully, again, make plans to come to the Texas National Stock Show next year. Get it on your schedule. It'll be right over the New Year's holiday, so it'll be easy to plan for. Get these champion and reserve breed champions. I think we parade the reserves through first, and then we'll bring our breed champions out. So we'll get all those stacked and ready to roll and be back with you in just a minute for our champion drive. While we've got a minute here, I'd like to go back through our sponsors. I appreciate all the sponsors that we've got. Obviously, a lot of the money gets rolled back right to these kids in this particular event, but couldn't make it possible without our sponsors. Our diamond level sponsor, Sullivan Show Supply. Our gold level sponsors, Champion's Choice Oil, Hoff Schulte Show Pigs, Lindner Show Feed, and Mormon Showtech. Our silver level sponsors, second to none, Adams Fab, Amarillo by Morning Jackpot, Dan Young Show Pigs, Delm Show Pigs, Fisher Show Pigs, Flatland Show Pigs, Law Office of David Chumley, Punch Electrolytes, RW Genetics, West Texas Genetics, and Wintex Farms. And our bronze level sponsors, Byers Farms, Illinois, Byers Farms, Texas, Ram Alloys, and the Studs. So thank you to our sponsors, and thanks to everybody for coming out and exhibiting at the Texas National Stock Show. We hope you've enjoyed your time here, and certainly hope everyone has safe travels going back home and has a great new year. We're getting awful close now to having our champions and reserve champions from each respective breed lined up so we can have us a champion drive.
Gentlemen, we are ready to start the Grand Championship Drive, and we will start by parading the reserve champions. And we'll start with the all-black cross reserve, Cole Cherry. And next is the AOB reserve, Kinsler Jingo. And now for the Berkshire Reserve, Coulter Winter. And the Dark Cross Reserve is Ashlyn Pugh. And the Duroc Reserve, Tanner Self. And our Reserve Hampshire is Hayes Dean. The Light Cross Reserve, Allie Bridges. And the reserve spot is Cole Cherry. Reserve White OPB is Hagen Weininger. And the Reserve Yorkshire, Ashlyn Pugh. And now it's time for the parade of our show champions. We start with the champion all-black cross, Shelby Brown. And now for the champion AOB, Reese Mabry. And the champion of Berkshire is Roxton Stone. The Dark Cross champion is Bryn Fort. The Duroc champion, Anna Frankie. The Hampshire champion, Dakota Martin. And the champion light cross, Bryson Bowling. And the champion from the spot class, Avery Mabry. And the white OPB champion is Brooke Fort. And our Yorkshire champion, Briley Lacey.
Lineup of champions out there, obviously kind of run the range out here. Some really quality lightweights out here that won those respective breeds, and then some bigger, heavier weight, maybe more competitive weights out here in this drive, but a very high quality set, I think, Cole.
Again, I think all bears that you're going to see down the road somewhere. A lot of these bears got a lot of show life left in them. I think there's probably just maybe the blue one that may be at the end of his career, but the rest of them, I think you're still got a lot of miles left in them. Getting geared up for San Antonio, San Angelo, maybe Denver on a couple of them, but
That's what makes this so nice is it's kind of just a stopping point, a weekend to get them back out, but everyone's got a different end point. We've had Maybe a few of these are head to Denver. Maybe a few of them will head, like you say, Fort Worth, San Antonio. We've got a few out-of-staters. Who knows where these may end up. But, you know, however you're preparing these, wherever you're going for them, you can be competitive right here at the Texas National, because there's the best one in each one of these breeds won. And Kelton's done a nice job of finding a good one in each breed. Be interesting to see how he likes to line these things up.
Absolutely. I mean, I think any one of them he could justify using. I think there's some real dense-haired ones there. The Hampshire, the Yorkshire, those things got pretty thick, luscious hair. Berkshire's really good for his breed. That Spot is good as I've seen for that breed in a long time. That one's a really good, a dark cross, a nice hog. I mean, there's lots of options in here. And I don't think anything he does is gonna be justifiable in my eyes, because there's just so many different options, and all these Barrows, I think, will go down the road and you'll hear something again from them. So.
Well, we come to our final decision, obviously, here in the Champion of the Market Hog Show, and a really fun morning. And I know we scooted through things at a fairly efficient pace, and really it wouldn't matter if we had 100 or 1,000. That's kind of the speed that I normally sort things and kind of go. And like I say, I thought the quality at the top end was extremely good, and I don't think pace ever dictates that for sure. And I tell you, it doesn't matter that we only had 115 of them. I think you dropped the exact same set with another 500 of them around, and these champions could definitely be at the very, very top. I was able to be a part of this show, or one of the shows there, the series last year, and when I came in, I was overwhelmed with just the lights, the production that was put on. Taylor just does such a phenomenal job with all of the media stuff that he puts together, and truly, this isn't just a jackpot show. Obviously, it's an event, and I think you'd have to say, obviously, I was just here in the morning. Most of y'all have probably been here for 3 days, but I would assume it was a very enjoyable 3 days, a great way to spend New Year's with your family doing what we love. If you would, put your hands together for all the show staff again. A phenomenal group, and a really, really fun show to work through for sure. You know, we come in here, and I think there's a lot of different ways. And again, we pulled the trigger quickly whenever we went through those classes and we went through those breeds, and yet we could probably drive this champion group for a very long time. This is the toughest decision I've made, which it should be. You come in here and you have pigs that offer some unique characteristics. You've got some things there that you could maybe nickel and dime and change about them just a little bit there, but still a lot of quality and some things you could latch onto and say that you've got to run with them. I like the fact that they're consistent in their build, their look, their proportionality and balance, and then there's differences in terms of bone, muscle, width, and look, and that's where you line your priorities. And we talked about just having different preferences there. You know, whenever I come to a prospect show or any of the shows that we put together, and there could be so many different directions that you head, where I normally end up lying, my faith is the one that I would like to take home and put on my kids, put in our barn to feed, that would get me up out in the morning and out to the barn the fastest, the one that I would be the absolute most excited about seeing what we could do with, where he landed at his end point there, and go from there. And you know, there's so many factors. This show pig deal is so hard, and we know so many things can go south so quickly. It's so competitive on the top end. So you know, as a prospect show judge, you'd like to be able to forecast the future, and it used to just tear me up when one I used didn't end up winning in the end, or one I beat did. Now I hope that there's one that placed fifth today that ends up going and winning San Antonio or Houston or even Denver here in a few weeks, and I think it's possible. As tough as it is, as many opinions there are out there. But again, you come out here, and I think you should be very proud of all the projects. Again, there was one that if I had him in the barn would get me up the fastest, as we said. I would absolutely love to see how this one ends up and feeds out here. I'm always a sucker for an awesome looking one, and I think this one's look and presence ahead of his blade is absolutely unmatched today. A unique bear that's still tall enough fronted. I think his body shape reads appropriate. I love the amount of bone and skeletal stoutness. I love his balance and proportionality. I prefer the Yorkshire the very most. Congratulations to that young lady.
Congratulations, our champion Barrow. It comes out of the Yorkshire breed, exhibited by Briley Lacey. That was from Briley's from Howe, Texas. That's a Wham from Fortner and Holland. Show pigs now come in and bring Ashlyn Pugh in, the reserve champion York, to show for reserve overall in our top 5.
That was a good Yorkshire drive, and that one that comes in could be championed in lots of different rings. He's so fresh and broad-backed and good-bodied, and just came into one that I just absolutely love there. I mean, I guess it comes down against two or three other ones there as they come in. The next one is one that I continually come back for. Again, just a stoutness, a feature. He's a square-made one that's extremely good in hip and hind leg design. Made a big bear and maintained his composition, and still one of those that gives you an awesome look. We wanted to fix him just a nickel at the base of his rib, but that dark crossbred bear is going to end up being our reserve grand.
Reserve champion comes out of the dark cross division. That was exhibited by Bryn Fort from Burke Burnett. That's a rightfully so from Knopf. Bring in now to show the reserve was Ashley.
Every decision is going to continually be tougher, and this is going to be the last time I come to the microphone. Definitely enjoyed my morning. I wish everybody the best of luck and the best new year here. It's going to be a fun winter, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fast-paced, and I hope we just keep everything in perspective. I think it's awesome that we're able to come together and do it together on a new year and kick off things right, and definitely enjoyed my time. I appreciate Tim and Taylor for asking me out and putting so much effort into the show for sure. Your third overall is one that I think is absolutely impeccable from a structural aspect. He is easily the most comfortable. He's the most athletic. He's the loosest jointed one that we've seen. He's practical in his body, and even though he's not the slickest up front, I still call him a very, very balanced one. If we could build him like this, the show pig world maybe wouldn't be quite as unpredictable as it is today, or maybe would make things even that much better. But that Hampshire needs to go next. Congratulations to her.
Third overall comes out of the Hampshire division. That champion was shown by Dakota Martin from Mason, Texas. Dan Young raised that bear. That's a next play hero. So now bring in reserve champion Hayes Dean in that Hampshire's from Ovala with another round from Allen Farms. Fourth overall is a reserve dark cross. That's from Ashland Pugh. That bear came from Platt Show Pigs. And then our fifth overall is the all black cross, a shug from Lindner Show Pigs, shown by Shelby Brown. So good top five there. A very quality set of bears here today that Kelton Mason lined up very capably for us. Appreciate y'all tuning in to Facebook and listening in on the Texas National Stock Show. We look forward to this on the same holiday weekend next year, so get your plans made and go ahead and be out here live. If not, we'll be doing a webcast for you again next year this same time. So congratulations to all our winners, all of our scholarship recipients. Total, I wanted to give a total before we ended up, and got a picture of this from Tim. Total scholarships committed over the 3 days of this show, $103,250. So congratulations to all of our winners, our scholarship winners for future use in that education. Very, very important to the Texas National Stock Show. So congratulations and safe travels home to everyone. Careful.
All right, here are the results of the Grand Championship Drive. In fifth place from the all-black cross class, Shelby Brown. Fourth place from the dark cross class, Ashland Pugh. From the Hampshires, we have the third place, which is Dakota Martin. And your grand champion was the Yorkshire Briley Lacey. And the reserve grand champion from Dark Cross, Bryn Fort. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and all you champions in reserves, we are about to have the awards ceremony here in, well, just real quick, as soon as I get into the ring. All right, let's start this awards and scholarship ceremony right now. First, we have our grand champion, $5,000 scholarship going to Briley Lacey. And our reserve grand champion with a $2,500 scholarship, Bryn Fort. And the bronze champion, $2,000 scholarship goes to Dakota Martin. And our all-black cross champion with a $1,500 scholarship, Shelby Brown. The reserve all-black cross, Cole Cherry with a $1,250 scholarship. And the all-black third place with a $250 scholarship, Breanne Best. And our AOB champion, a $1,500 scholarship for Reese Mabry. And our AOB reserve with a $1,250 scholarship, Kinsler Jingo. And third place in AOB with a $250 scholarship, Tatum Jingo. And our Berkshire champion, $1,500 scholarship goes to Roxton Stone. And a Berkshire reserve with a $1,250 scholarship, Coulter Winter. And the third place Berkshire getting $250 scholarship, Gracie Bohannon. And a $1,500 scholarship for our dark cross champion, Bryn Fort. And a $1,250 scholarship to the dark cross reserve, Ashlyn Pugh. And for having a dark cross first place with a $1,000 scholarship, Shelby Brown. And for a dark cross second place with a $500 scholarship, Kate Cooper. Another dark cross second place, $500 scholarship, Adeline Pugh. And another dark cross second place, $500 scholarship goes to Allie Bridges. Dark cross third place with a $250 scholarship, that's Morgan Wagner. And another dark cross third place, $250 scholarship, Rhett Owens. And we're still on the dark cross third place, $250 scholarship, Jade Stone. And a $1,500 scholarship to our Duroc champion, Anna Frankie. And our Duroc reserve gets a $1,250 scholarship, that's Tanner Self. And for having a second place Duroc, $500 scholarship, Stockton Dabovich. And also getting a $500 scholarship for having a second place Duroc, Colton Vogie. And a Duroc third place, $250 scholarship goes to Tanner Self. And a Duroc third place scholarship for $250 also goes to Morgan Wagner. And the Hampshire champion getting a $1,500 scholarship is Dakota Martin. The Hampshire reserve getting a $1,250 scholarship, Hayes Dean. And for having a Hampshire first place, $1,000 scholarship goes to Shelby Brown. Hampshire second place with a $500 scholarship is for Parker Wallace. And for a Hampshire third place, Miller Beams getting a $250 scholarship. And also a Hampshire second place $500 scholarship goes to Brooke Stone. And a Hampshire second place $500 scholarship also goes to Anna Frankie. And a third place Hampshire $250 scholarship goes to Morgan Wagner. And our light cross champion getting a $1,500 scholarship, Bryson Bowling. And a $1,250 scholarship for the light cross reserve, Allie Bridges. And for having a light cross first place, getting a $1,000 scholarship, Jade Stone. And a light cross second place, $500 scholarship, Dancer Bailey. And for having a light cross third place, $250 scholarship, Cash Mosier. And another light cross third place, $250 scholarship goes to Presley Graves. And the spot champion getting a $1,500 scholarship is Avery Mabry. And the spot reserve gets a $1,250 scholarship. That's Cole Cherry. Getting a $250 scholarship for a third place spot, Cooper Homan. And our white OPB champion with a $1,500 scholarship, Brooke Fort. And the white OPB reserve gets a $1,250 scholarship. That's Hagen Weininger. $250 scholarship for a white OPB third place. That's Olivia Deaver. And our Yorkshire champion with a $1,500 scholarship, Briley Lacey. The Yorkshire Reserve, $1,250 scholarship, Ashlyn Pugh. For having a Yorkshire first place, $1,000 goes to Gentry Locke. For Yorkshire second place, $500 scholarship goes to Lily Ford. And for having a Yorkshire third place, Miller Beam is getting a $250 scholarship. And another Yorkshire third $250 scholarship goes to Kaylin Pugh. All right, that's all of them. Let's have a big round of applause for all of these scholarship award winners.